Take the red pill, take the blue pill, take the red pill, take the blue pill. Take the red pill, take the blue pill, take the red pill, take the blue pill. Take the red pill, take the blue pill, take the red pill, take the blue pill. You take the red pill, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, 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 take the red. You stay in Wonderland. You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
You're listening to the Red Pill Reality Show with your host, Riz Scala, every Saturday night on the LNM Network from 9 p.m. to midnight. And now your host, Riz Scala.
Take the red pill, take the blue pill, take the red pill, take the blue pill.
Hello and welcome everyone. It is the Red Pill Reality Show. It is an honor and a privilege to have you listen in. I am your host, Riz Scala. We are transmitting live from Palm Beach County, Florida. And we'll have Mike Velarde on with me tonight. Mike is running for Congress in District 21. And we'll be taking your calls later when he comes on with me. Mike happens to be the most qualified candidate that we have. He is running on the Republican ticket. And, one of the things I like to say is if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again and expect a different outcome, you're insane. That is the definition of insanity, to continue the repetition of the same thing over and over and expect a different outcome. Well, we have had this incumbent for how many times? We have had the same thing over and over and over. And if you want a different outcome, we're going to have to make a change. And that change is, I believe, is Mike. He's well fitted for the job. He has an excellent background. His credentials are extremely what's the word I'm looking for? Favorable. In the meantime, I'll have him on shortly here. And again, we'll be taking your calls. Before we get to that, I'd like to share a little bit with you about some of the things that are going on. I was very pleased that this evening I went to go, I placed an order at one of the local restaurants. I went to go pick it up. And they were bringing it curbside, so you walk up to the store and you tell them your name and they'll bring it out to you. So I walked up to the store, gave my name, and walking back to my car, there's a couple sitting in their car, windows down, no masks on. And I looked at them and I said, you mind if I ask you guys a question? And they said, no, sure, go ahead. And I said, aren't you worried? I see you're not wearing a mask. And they just laughed. And that was probably one of the best moments of this day today, to see that other people are finally starting to get the idea. And we had a brief conversation, and I didn't really get too deep in politics, but we talked about the idea of what is going on. And they're fed up with it. Now, I've never met these people before. It's the first time I'd ever seen them. And I was grateful that they were willing to have conversation with me. Although the conversation wasn't particularly political, it was about what was going on today. And it was relieving to me to see that they had a pretty good insight as to what is going on. I mentioned to them that there were 8 states here in the United States that did not shut down. That was a surprise to them. I also mentioned to them about Sweden, and the lady spoke up and said, "Oh, I have relatives in Sweden. We know all about Sweden." I said, "Well, I don't have any direct information. I mean, I'm reading articles and stuff. So what do you know?" And she said they just practiced social distancing, and that was it. They didn't shut the country down. They didn't put people out of business. They didn't tell people they couldn't go to work. They didn't tell people they couldn't go to church. They didn't tell people they couldn't go to the park. They didn't tell people they couldn't leave their house. They just practiced social distancing. And guess what the death rate in Sweden is? Yeah. Has it ever occurred to anybody? Let's take a look at California for a minute. One of the most communist states that we have today. How many homeless? It is estimated that a third, excuse me, my throat is giving out, and I'll explain that in a minute. It is estimated that a third of all homeless people, a third, are in California. We're in the middle of a pandemic. How come all these people are getting sick? They're doing everything wrong according to what we've been told. They don't wash their hands every time. They're sleeping outside. And yet we don't hear about any of them getting sick. What happened to all the hospitals now that are in deep financial doo-doo, if you will? Why? Because the government told them they couldn't do the thing that makes them the most money. That's why. You can only take care of COVID patients. Why is it necessary to label every death that comes through the hospital as a COVID death? We have been told now that the models that were used, the numbers that were generated from those models were incorrect, greatly overstated. That's a mild statement there. And so they have, in a roundabout way, admitted that they were wrong, but yet we continue with this farce, this pandemic farce. And the ongoing perpetration of more fear. I see videos of police officers wearing masks. And then I try to understand, why would you want to do that? We have had the Surgeon General on 2 different occasions specifically say, if you're a healthy individual, you shouldn't be wearing a mask. If you pose a danger to someone, you might reconsider wearing a mask. If you are someone who is in the high percentage rate of getting sick, maybe you could consider wearing a mask. I would say 90% of the people out there do not need to wear a mask. Now, I have five or six, I don't know, 5 or 6 doctors that I have had communications with. They all agree. A couple of nurses I did not have a conversation with, but I did have a chat with them on the internet. I'm getting feedback. Forgive me. And they all agree. They agree about the wearing of a mask by a healthy individual is not healthy. There's too many negatives involved with that, related to that. You're cutting off your oxygen supply. It becomes a moist area from your hot breath leaving and coming in and leaving and going and going and coming. And it becomes a breeding ground. Particularly these cloth masks that people are wearing. It becomes a breeding ground. This idea of not going outside. The outside, the sun on your hypothalamus gland, I think it's the one, I may be wrong about that one, but The sun hitting the biggest organ that you have, your skin, activates your hypothalamus gland. And again, I'm thinking. I'm going by memory, and I got to tell you, my memory's shot. And that hypothalamus gland helps your body create vitamin D. What is vitamin D? It's an immune booster. They tell you don't go to the beach. It doesn't make any sense. Salt water is a purifier. It's I can't think of the right word. Let me tell you about my throat, why my throat is so messed up. Yesterday, I spent hours on the phone trying to get an answer about what is going on with regard to, I have a corporation. I filed for this $10,000 loan over a month ago. Haven't heard anything back. No emails back, nothing. No letters in the mail, nothing. Tried to get an answer on that. So I can't tell you how long I was on the phone with them. By the time I got off the phone, I was ready to chew up nails. Got nowhere with them. I called the unemployment office. Like so many others out there, I'm unemployed. They're forcing me out of business because I am a business-to-business kind of business. I don't typically go to people's homes. I go to other businesses and work on their stuff. Well, all those businesses, they're closing them down. The people that are doing this, they never suffered financially for any of this. They got a paycheck throughout this whole process. Yet they force other people, hardships on other people. Imagine how many families are out there where both parents are working and they have children. They close the schools. And then as a slap in the face, no, a kick in the groin, they close all the parks down. But they tell you that you can go to the hardware store, you can go to the grocery store, you can go to the liquor store, but you're not allowed to go to a little store. They're deemed non-essential. In my opinion, the non-essential people are all those people involved in our government. Because I can do a hell of a lot better job than any of them. So my throat. Okay. I can't tell you how long. But by the time it was all over, I literally had a meltdown. Literally, I was screaming at the top of my lungs. This is you-know-what up. This is really you-know-what up. I cannot get an answer. 24 years of my life, I'm looking at invested in this company. I'm being forced out of business, and I can't get one answer out of all the people that I spoke with. And it was kind of like a balloon. You know, I describe it as kind of like a balloon. You take a balloon, you blow a breath into it, it's no big deal. You blow another breath into it, it's no big deal. You blow another breath into it, it's no big deal. But as you continue to blow these breaths into it, it gets larger and larger and larger. At some point, it reaches its capacity, can no longer take any more, and it pops. Well, that's what happened to me yesterday. I popped on a couple of these people. It's frustrating, and I know I'm not alone. There's probably hundreds of thousands of other small companies that are looking at a very strong possibility of not being able to rebound from this. And we have no recourse. And they make statements like, well, we're going to get you a $10,000 loan, and if you can't repay the loan, it's a forgivable loan if you can show that it's a hardship and you can't repay it and because it was caused blah 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 blah. You get nothing. You get spit. You can't even get information. So yesterday the balloon popped. I was literally screaming. And today I'm suffering. My throat is... It reminds me of the days that my youngest daughter, who used to play lacrosse, and I would go to her games. And for the next 2 days, I was hoarse from screaming and yelling, and, that's how I was yesterday. What we're going through, I believe, in my opinion, is doing more damage. Doing more damage than the virus itself. I don't pretend to have all the numbers in front of me, but I can tell you without question that there is going to be more harm done than was yesterday by this attempt to protect everybody. There's going to be far more harm done by that than even with the skewed numbers that they gave us initially. Even though those numbers were wrong and purposefully inflated, even with those numbers, which I think were about 2 or 3 million, if I remember right. 2 or 3 million, and we're looking at 30 million people that have been affected by this. That's the last count. It may be even more than that. So I'm not really sure where the justification came in. Who did we save? When we find out that the recovery rate is 98.5%. 98.5% of the people that get this do not require medical assistance. They get through it, and yet they shut the whole country down and affected hundreds of thousands of businesses, some of which are not going to come back. I'm on thin ice. I don't even know if there is any ice left at this point. I described it many times as you're sitting in a bathtub and somebody pulled the plug. Well, the water doesn't leave immediately, but you know the water's leaving. And if you can't find a plug, you know inevitably there's not going to be any water left in that bathtub. And that's what I'm looking at. My question, with all sincerity, my question, I'd like an honest answer to, would be that, knowing what we know today, how do you feel about all the misery that is being caused on earth today? It is overwhelmingly overwhelming people. Is the misery on earth today overwhelmingly caused by lockdown, or is it caused by the coronavirus? How many of you can face the truth? Because the truth is, the cure is killing more people than the disease is. We've had about 60,000 deaths, and those of you who know anything about what's going on know that that number's inflated. Everybody that comes into the hospital dies of COVID. There hasn't been heart attack deaths. There hasn't been brain aneurysm deaths. There hasn't been cancer. It's amazing. This virus has cured every freaking disease out there, and the only thing left is COVID-19. That's the only thing we have to worry about anymore. Why do they have to lie? Why is it necessary? This isn't coming from me. This is what I've heard from doctors. Dr. Erickson, Dr. Masihi out of California. Dr. Erickson testified before a camera. Why am I being coached and almost forced to put COVID down on the death certificate when I know that's not what the person died of? Why are they pushing this idea? And he said, I'm not the only doctor. I have many doctors, hundreds of doctors around the United States asking the same question. Why is there this push to list COVID as the source of on the death penalty? Excuse me, on the death certificate. Yeah, it is a death penalty. And then you find out that hospitals are being paid for COVID patients. Where's the incentive to do the right thing? Because the incentive there is to do the wrong thing. This is one of the reasons they all claim that these COVID-19 deaths are happening. They're getting paid. Sometimes as much as $39,000. Now, you've put the hospitals in a position where they're on the brink of bankruptcy because the bread and butter, the real money that they make, is in the other operations that go on within the hospital. And you've cut all of that out. All of the elective surgery that's the cream of the crop for them. And put that aside for a minute. What about cancer? What about people who have cancer? That's a multi-billion-dollar industry every year. Guess how much? I have a friend of mine. Breaks my heart. I love this person dearly. They are the sweetest person in the world. Unfortunately, they had breast cancer. They had to have their breast removed. Then they went through the chemotherapy and the sickness and the horrible side effects of all that. Then I saw a copy of just one treatment. I think they had 6, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was a total of 6 of these particular treatments. $32,000. So you see how the hospitals make some serious money. All that been cut out from them. And so they're grasping at straws, if you will, financial straws. And the government comes along and says, well, if you have a COVID patient, we pay you X amount of dollars. If you have a COVID patient that dies, we pay you X amount of dollars. If you have a COVID patient that's on one of these incubators and they die, intubator, whatever that thing is called, the breathing machine, then you get paid even more money. So what do you think the incentive is? Oh, Mr. Smith, how are you doing? And what's your problem today? Oh, I'm having a heart attack. Oh, okay, well, come on in. Let me take care of you. Oh, this man's got COVID. Put him on one of those breathing machines because when he dies, because a lot of the... Oh, God, help me. I have 3 different videos up, 3 different nurses, all saying the same thing. They are witnessing patients being murdered, literally murdered. Watching as patients need assistance, and they are basically instructed to leave them alone and let them die. There's 3 different nurses. I don't know why they would do this if it weren't true. Why would they make up stories like this? One of them was so shook up she could barely talk. And what are we doing about this? You know that there's places here in the States that they're threatening to arrest people if they come out of their homes for non-essential trips? There's a mayor, I think in Chicago, I may be wrong about the city, but who told people you're going to have to accept the New World Order before you can come out. And just right out in your face. I may be wrong about the city, but I think it was Chicago. I see her face and I can't think of her name. It's a black lady. She looks like she's dead already. I can't think of her name. I tell you, I try to calm myself down before I come on the air, but I got to tell you, it's difficult. It's difficult knowing what I know, seeing what I see, and watching people just idly stand by and do nothing. I watched a group of thugs attack a young lady with her baby, and I think it was in New York. And what was her crime? She wasn't wearing her face mask properly. Dragged her to the ground, handcuffed her, and took her off. I guess they took her off to jail in front of her baby. thugs with badges, the worst kind, like a little mafia. One of them gets, it's like when you step on an ant pile and they all come out of nowhere. That's what it's like with them, some of them, not all of them, but quite a few of them. And the ones who do speak out, like 2 of them, 3 of them that I have videos of that have spoken out, one of them has already been fired, and they're looking at pressing charges against him. They want to arrest a police officer who took a video of himself saying it was wrong to break down people's rights. It was against the Constitution, and he did not want to do that. He did not sign up for that. So I have a police officer who's telling the truth and wants to abide by the rule, the supreme law of the land, or so we're told anyway. And he gets fired. Not only is he fired, now they're looking at arresting him. Like they're going to trump up some charges. So there's no incentive for the people of integrity. You come into the hospital, you've got, I don't know, you're having a brain aneurysm. God forbid that you die from the brain aneurysm because your death certificate is going to say COVID-19. Why do you think they keep saying this word over and over and over again? And Dr. Fauci, the criminal that he is, makes statements like, we may see a time when people will be required to be vaccinated. Can I say that again so maybe it'll sink in? Because what I just told you is considered to be an illegal act by our government. There may be a day when people may be required to be vaccinated. Now, those of you who are kind enough to listen to me, I greatly appreciate that. I would like you to do me a favor. Get a pencil or something to write with. And those of you who are not familiar with this patent, I'd like you to go look it up. The patent number is WO for World Order, this year, 2020, /060606. Now, if you're not familiar with that, it is a patent for a cryptocurrency. This cryptocurrency will be injected into your body. Unlike the chip, which is put into your thumb, the fat area between your thumb and your forefinger. If somebody gets pissed off, really pissed off, they can take a razor blade and cut it out. Of course, it's going to be painful, but they can cut it out. And the bottom line is they can get it out. That's not going to be the case with this. This becomes part of you. These are nanobots and miniature circuits, nanocircuits that are injected into your body, that are programmed to work together to use the energy from your body to generate currency. On top of that, once this happens, not only is there no backing out, they will know every intimate detail about you. Everything. There won't be anything that won't be left out. Everything will be recorded 24/7. How fast you're breathing, your heart rate, blood pressure. Are you having sex? Who have you seen? Everything. You go to the bathroom. Everything. This is going to be a transmitter that is in your body, using your body's energy to create money, and in return, they're going to know everything about you. There will be no out. Now, if you don't want that to happen, then you better get your butt up off the couch and start getting involved, because we're seriously heading in that direction. All right, I got to take a break, and I'll be back with Mike Velarde. And Mike is running for Congress in District 21, the most qualified candidate that we have here in Palm Beach County is Mike Velarde. And I'm going to do the best that I can to help him in any way I can. I'm the kind of guy that likes to see everybody win. You get Mike Velarde, everybody wins. Trust me. I've spoken with this man. I've seen him personally. I have a good feel for the integrity of this man, and he is one of the few who is strong with integrity. All right, having said that, let me see if I can find it here. Here we go.
You're listening to only the best internet radio station in the world. No, the universe.
WCT-FM.
Carolina Radio, Columbia.
WCT-FM invites you to join the hosts and listeners alike in our new chat room located on WCTFM.com. Your talk station and now your chat location. Just go to WCTFM.com and click the chat and listen page. It's that easy, so hurry up and we will see you there, my friends. So go to www.WCTFM.com.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Pet Connect Plus offers a connection to your pet, living or past, with the use of Tarot. Ruby, the owner and intuitive reader for Pet Connect Plus, will make a connection to your pet for guidance on specific questions in general past, present, and future readings of your pet. A connection with an owner and a pet together will run $55 for 50 minutes, or a connection with one pet alone is $35 for 30 minutes. What a deal. Pet Connect Plus can be found at PetConnectPlus.com and on Facebook at Pet Connect Plus. Connect with Pet Connect Plus so we can make a connection with your beloved pet to provide them with a fulfilling and rewarding relationship with you. Get connected today. PetConnectPlus.com. WCTFM says size does matter. We have a large variety of free radio archives for you to go back and listen to. Size does matter, and WCTFM's archives are huge, with shows like Money and Change, Bare Knuckled, Kindness Beyond the Veil, Supernatural Realm, Show Us Don't Tell Us, The Red Pill Reality Show, The Podstitute Podcast, Dinner with the Klings, In Contact with Dr. Rand, Uncensored, and even our flagship, Late Night in the Midlands, all free. So don't hurt yourself because it's really big. Go big or go home. WCTFM.com, your home for talk radio and free radio archives. Hey, late nighters, you can keep up with all things WCTFM and L&M by joining our mailing list. Just go to the bottom of the homepage and subscribe. You'll get everything from guest info and show info and other important station-related information. So go sign up now, WCETFM.com.
There are facts we're not being told on TV, so I want to talk to you about gun control in America. Why did all of the big media focus their attention on the attacks in Orlando and completely ignore the fact that the following weekend 52 people were shot in Chicago, a city with some of the strictest gun control laws in the country? There seems to be an agenda for gun control while ignoring the gun violence in other cities and countries where the experiment of gun control is already underway and failing. I carry a gun because there are only two types of creatures on this planet, predators and prey. No one watches a cheetah chase down a gazelle and deny that the gazelle has the right to use its horns to protect itself. But there are people who would deny that same right of self-defense to other human beings. Such people seem to think that the way to stop the cheetah is to cut the horns off the gazelle. That somehow, if you make it easier for the predator will simply go away. It doesn't work that way. If you make it easier for the predator, you get more predators. I carry a gun because when predators know they're less likely to have an advantage, they're less likely to be a predator. The FBI found that when states allow concealed carry, murder rates are immediately reduced. And cities in America that pass a law requiring households to have a firearm see the number of home invasions drop dramatically. I carry a gun because the ratio a gun is used in a homicide is significantly less than when it's used in self-defense. Firearms are used up to 300 times more often to save innocent lives than commit a murder, and guns prevent up to 2.5 million crimes in the U.S. every year, often without a single shot ever being fired. I carry a gun not because it's a weapon, but because it's a shield. 200,000 women every year use a gun to defend themselves against sexual abuse. I carry a gun because almost every mass shooting in the last 50 years took place in a gun-free zone. Law-abiding citizens are forced to give up their right to protect themselves, while every criminal breaks the law, including gun-free signs, when they decide to murder. I carry a gun because a gun-free zone makes it easier for predators to target their prey. Stricter gun laws make the problem worse, and making guns illegal wouldn't remove murder from our cities any more than making heroin illegal stop addicts from doing drugs. I carry a gun because the facts are nations with strict gun control laws have significantly higher murder rates than those that don't. I carry a gun because I know in the U.S. scissors and knives kill almost 5 times more people every year than rifles do, including the AR-15 and other so-called assault rifles. Calling to ban a tool will not resolve the problem. I carry a gun because criminals break the law with or without them. The 9/11 terrorists used box cutters in airplanes. Timothy McVeigh used bags of assault fertilizer. I understand that some people want to blame things like semi-automatic rifles, 30-round magazines, hate crimes, terror threats, gun control, historic flags, national security, religion, or illegal immigration. I understand we want to blame something, anything that we can control. But don't blame me because I carry a concealed gun to protect my family. I understand we need to start addressing what we really want to ban: violence, murder, and insanity. I carry a gun because I know who's pushing to ban them. Our right to bear arms is not there simply to protect us against lowly criminals. I know the politicians know this, which is why they call for gun control instead of crime control. I carry a gun because I've seen gamblers who want more winnings, alcoholics who want more alcohol, and people with power want more power. I understand what the Founding Fathers knew, that the right to bear arms is there to protect the American people from those drunk with power, and I understand every country was free before it wasn't. I carry a gun because having the right to bear arms gives the citizens of this great nation a fighting chance against the predators of greed and power, whether in our home, our capital, or our neighboring lands. Evil exists only because too many good people stand by and do nothing. I know seeing America's right to free speech was a chilling wake-up call when it became locked away in a zone. That's why so many steadfast Americans and great organizations stand up for the people to keep the balance of power from tipping over. I carry a gun because it removes the unfair advantage between predators and prey. I don't carry because I'm looking for a fight. I carry a gun because I'm looking to be left alone. People can only persuade you to do something by one of two ways: reason or force. Having a gun with me removes their option to make me do something by force. It helps keep predators civilized. That's why the right to bear arms is important. That's why I own a firearm, and that's why I'm proud to say I carry a gun.
You're listening to the Red Pill Reality Show on the LNM Network. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
All right, and we are right back. Thank you for taking time to listen tonight. I have Mike Velarde with me. I'm going to bring him on in just a minute. Now, we'll open up the phone lines. Had a little bit of difficulty the first part of the monologue, a little bit of an echo going on and a feedback at the same time, so it was kind of driving me crazy. I think I've got it resolved now and out of the way. I understand that the website is down. I don't know what happened. I have suspicion, but I don't want to say anything on the air until I know. The website is temporarily down, guys. The best way to listen to us right now is going to be on Facebook. Tell your friends, please, if you are listening, put a post up there on Facebook that the best way to listen to us is going to be on Facebook right now, as the website has gone down. And I have the app available, but it's not in the stores yet. Oh my goodness. All right. So let me get back over here. It's just, everything is just going wacko here. Let me bring Mike Velarde on. Mike is running for Congress in District 21. Mike, again, I will say, is the most qualified candidate that we have If you are tired of the same thing, the definition of insanity is to continue doing that over and over and over and expect some kind of change. I am tired of watching these incumbents literally be parasites upon us and do nothing, little to none for us. Now we have an opportunity to send somebody to Congress. We have an opportunity to send a person to Congress who cares about us. It's pretty evident. Just take a look around what's going on. It's pretty evident what's going on. They don't give a you-know-what about us. Rats behind, if you will. So, Mike, thank you for taking time to call in. Welcome to the Red Pill Reality Show, my friend.
Scott, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the intro.
Now, just so people have an idea, a little bit about your background. I know that you worked for the government at one time. Is that right?
That's right. 22 years I was a federal agent. I was a 9/11 responder. I was in the Joint Terrorism Task Force. I was on the the El Dorado Drug Task Force. I investigated different criminal organizations, a lot of organized crime stuff, cartels, and corruption.
And anybody who knows anything about what's going on, I mean, if you've just watched 1 hour of television, which I don't even watch that much in a month, you can get an idea that there's a great deal of corruption that is occurring within our government. And if you don't have somebody like Mike, who has had to deal with hardened criminals, hardened murderers, if you will, if you don't have somebody like that with a backbone like he has, and most importantly, the integrity that the man carries, then you might as well just, spit into the wind. Because if we have this individual that we have now, again, for another term, you can only expect worse. You can only expect more people not working with the president. Now, whether you agree with the president or whether you disagree with the president, understand that not working with the president, making it difficult for the president in every turn that he makes it bad for everybody. It's not just bad for the president. It's bad for all of us. Haven't we had enough of that? We're going into almost 4 years of this insanity. I believe it's time for a true change. And part of that true change is to find somebody like Mike who has the background, has the integrity, has the wherewithal, has been exposed to this before. And send him up there and let him, if you'll excuse my expression, kick some butt. Because that's what he'll do for us. It's not for him. It's for us. And he makes that pretty clear. Okay, so you work for the government. I think you also worked for the IRS, right?
Yeah, I was a criminal investigator for the IRS for 22 years.
Okay.
And then for the last 9 years, I've been what's called an IRS enrolled agent. And that means I represent the taxpayer against the IRS. And in that capacity, I've helped a lot of people. I've settled tax debts for $500. I settled a $250,000 tax debt for a client for $500.
Wow.
And yeah, this woman, she was in the hospital in Arizona, and we got the right IRS agent. He was able to understand her, her disabilities, and we settled a $250,000 tax debt for $500. And that's what I do for people. I mean, I had another guy who was in Boca who came to me, and he was having half his Social Security levied, and he's 76 years old. He had to go back to work for $10 an hour to pay his bills.
Wow.
I was able to have that levy removed, and I was able to have his $145,000 tax liability turned into a refund.
Oh, my goodness.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, they
what a
wrongly
blessing.
assessed him. Just a case I had in New York, I won it on appeal last year. 2 doctors were wrongly assessed $1 million each, and I got the entire assessment dropped, so that $1 million just disappeared. Came off the books because I was able to prove that a third party had actually stolen the money that was supposed to go to the IRS, and they were getting blamed for it and had nothing to do with it.
Wow. So again, here's evidence that we have somebody who's familiar with the system, worked with the system, knows the system, and is able to circumvent the roadblocks here's how I see things work up there. This has been a predominantly Democratic district. I think it's Frankel who is our...
That's right.
Right? So if you end up going up there, they're going to do everything they can to make you look bad so they can get one of their people. Oh, you see, you guys, you voted for Mike. You see what a crummy job Mike has done? It's not Mike's doing a crummy job. It's Mike's being blocked at every just like they do with the president. And so unless we get somebody like Mike who can literally run through them, who knows, okay, you guys, you don't cross this line. And they know with somebody like Mike, because of his background, you better not cross the line or you're going to have to suffer the consequences, and they won't be pretty. If we send someone else up there who will cower to these people, it's a waste of time. This is really the message I'm trying to get across to people. We need somebody up there who is not afraid to fight these people. Mike's not afraid to fight these people. Go ahead, Mike.
No, listen, I was in the group. We took down the Russians when they were stealing the gas tax in New York. They were stealing $6 million a month, and I was the guy through the front door making the arrest most of the time. So I've taken on. I've sat down with PLO terrorists. I sat down with the guy who planned the Islamic takeover of America and interviewed him for 8 hours.
Wow!
And you could actually see that on, if you Google my name, Mike Velarde TV, Kamal, you'll see the first television show we did. I sat down with a guy that killed 234 people committing jihad and learned radical Islam from him. This was after 9/11. This was after I was on the Joint Terrorism Task Force because I wrote a book. My first book that I wrote on Bible prophecy came out in 2006, 2007. I went on television, and I happened to be interviewed by a Christian television producer, and he produced cable TV shows for different Christians, and he gave me a show, and I was on television in various capacities for a 10-year period of time on cable. And I had the opportunity then to interview people like that, like Kamal Salim, like Zachariah Renani, who were really mass murderers at one point in time.
Wow. Well, again, the reason why I am supporting you is I know the qualities that we need in somebody. It's just and I'm not comparing your personality to his. I'm comparing your capacity to his. And it would be like, why did we vote for Donald Trump? I know the majority of my friends, as well as myself, voted for Donald Trump because he's not part of the good old boys, if you will. He's not part of that system up there. He knows the system because he's been involved with these people for many, many years. He's given them millions of dollars over the years for their different campaigns. So, yeah, he was intimately involved with these people, and he knew how they worked. And the reason that I voted for him, and I really believe the majority of the people would agree with me when I make the statement, the reason that we voted for him is we wanted a change, and that change could only be brought about by somebody who is not part of the system. And that's what we have with Mike. He's not part of the system. He's I'm not trying to compare the two of them, but there are parallels between them. Mike is a disruptor. Mike is the man, like he said earlier. I was the guy walking through the front door when we were arresting these people. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty. He's not afraid to roll and tumble with these people. Like I said, if we were to find another candidate who is a Republican, who doesn't have the background that Mike has, he's going to go up there. Let's just say that he wins. He's going to go up there, he or she. We're going to go up there, and what's going to happen? They're either going to become buddies with the Democrats, or they're going to get blocked at every turn, and they're not going to know what to do. This is where the difference is. This is why I say this man is the most qualified for what we want. He will be the one who is not afraid to go up there and make the changes for us. And this is why I support him. I do whatever I can for you, Mike, because I'm 1,000% behind you, my friend.
Well, listen, I really appreciate you so much. You know what? I developed a plan because I realized I'm in a D9 district. And when I interviewed last year with the Republican Party, they did tell me I was the most qualified person they had. And then I got a call from Kevin McCarthy's office who said, hey, we can't put any money behind you. You're in a D9 district, and Lois Frankel, she doesn't hurt us. She doesn't do anything. Okay? So I developed a plan to turn Democrats to get them to vote for me as a Republican. Because my expertise is in the area of taxes. I worked for the IRS for 22 years, and for the last 9 years, I've been an IRS enrolled agent. And there's some things that are in the tax code that are just plain wrong. Let me give you an example of that. Social Security is double taxed, and a lot of people don't even realize it.
Yeah, I do. Go ahead.
Right?
Yeah, I do.
So when you pay into the Social Security system, let's say you made $100,000, they took $7,000 in Social Security taxes. You saw 93, but you pay tax on 100. So you just paid tax on $7,000 you never saw or had no use of at all. Now you're 65 years old. You go to collect your Social Security benefits, which is your money being paid back to you, right? You pay into the system for 40 years. They pay you back your money. It should be tax-free, right? Because you paid tax on that $7,000 that you never saw, and now it's coming back to you. It should be tax-free. Nope. The IRS will tax you 85% of your benefit. So if you get $35,000 a year from another pension or anything like that, your Social Security benefits are taxed up to 85%. The first piece of legislation that I will pass is to make Social Security tax-free, because it should be, because it's your money being returned to you.
Thank you.
Okay, that's the first thing.
These are some of the things that I speak to. These are some of the changes that we're talking. Do you think the existing person wants to hear this? The incumbent? Do you think they care about any of this? Come on, get real, people.
That's why I'm going to win this election, because I'm going to point out how the incumbent has made our elderly poor by not addressing this issue. And here's what's worse. And this is another thing that I want to change, because this is on my heart. You know, I'm a member of the Fraternal Order of Police, and that's a group of guys, great guys, who are all cops or law enforcement officers down here in Florida. And they came up to me when I was at a meeting and I announced my candidacy, and they said, you know, Mike, we're worried about our wives, because we get a pension. You know, most of them get city pensions from the city of New York or other police departments, and when they pass, you know, the wife might get half that pension, you know, if they elected the benefit. You know, same with the federals. They'll get up to half the pension. But the other problem is they will lose part of their Social Security benefits. So let's say that the husband got a $3,000 benefit and the wife got it too. Well, after she goes to his funeral, she'll come back and get a letter from the government saying, hey, you just lost your husband's $3,000 a month. You can petition to get the higher of the two benefits, but you can't have both. So what happens to these women? They've been married 50 years and now in their mid-80s or whatever, and they find themselves impoverished.
Wow.
So I'm also going to pass legislation to allow the widow to collect both benefits for a period of 24 months. Now, you'll make an election. It'll cost you $25 a month when you make the election, but you'll know for 24 months you will have both those Social Security benefits. So when you lose your husband, when you lose your spouse, you will not have to worry about your economic insecurity. Wow. 30 days later.
It's difficult enough having to say goodbye, and then it's like a wound that's been cut open, and then somebody pouring salt into it on top of that.
That's right. And Lois Frankel has allowed these women to become impoverished. She hasn't cared about the elderly. She hasn't passed any meaningful legislation to help them. And that's why I'm going to take a D9 district and make it go Republican, because I care about the elderly people. I'm going to fight for them just like I fight for my clients against the IRS, and I win. That's what I'm going to do, because anybody that's going to come against that legislation is going to be foolish to do so, because it's the right thing to do.
And with someone like you backing it, see, they know that you're not going to back down. That also carries a lot of weight. They know that the person introducing it isn't a lightweight. I don't know if that's the right word to use, but I think you get the idea. That's not somebody that's just going to go, oh, okay. It's not going to happen, you know. So
it will not be fair to the Democratic Party if I were to win, because I'm going to expose all the stuff that they've been doing, the double taxation, how they make the poor poorer. Another example of this is unemployment insurance. It's supposed to be insurance. It comes out of the employer's payroll taxes, okay, and it's supposed to be insurance. What happens? These poor people that are now unemployed, the IRS comes in and says, hey, we're going to tax that as income. And before you know it, they spend all their money paying their bills, and then the IRS says, wait a minute, you owe us $2,000. You owe us $5,000. We're going to start seizing your bank accounts. How unfair is that?
Wow.
And Lois Frankel has allowed that to happen to these poor, unemployed people since she's been in office, and it's wrong. And I'm going to stop it.
And I thank you for that, my friend, because we need more people like you up there. I think if we had more like you up there, we wouldn't be seeing anything like what we're seeing today. Generally speaking, the Democrats don't seem to be. I know there's probably some good people up there, but just in general, they don't seem to be on the side of what I call Americans. They just don't seem to want to support us. And the most common example of that is if you look around the United States, and particularly the democratically controlled areas, are the areas that are going to be asking for support from the federal government because they've mishandled everything for so long this thing came along and kind of pushed them over the edge, and now they're really, they're naked. They're financially naked. But if you look at the areas that were handled by the Republican, again, these are general. I know that there's exceptions.
Of course, you're right.
But if you look at the areas that are the responsibility of Republicans, it's a different story. They seem to be able to keep on top of things in such a way that when something like this comes along, and while others need assistance, they're fine. They're stable. So these are all of the things that we should consider when we're going to look for somebody who's to represent us. And key words is represent us. That's important. All right,
and that's one of the reasons what you just said is also why I'm for term limits. I've seen the corruption in politics, both sides of the aisle.
Yeah.
I mean, Mitch McConnell's been there for, 30 years. Nancy Pelosi's been there since 93. I mean, it's way too long. So I will pass legislation that will limit a senator to 2 terms and a congressman from anywhere to 3 to 5, depending on what I can get done. Because it's not a lifetime job. It's a civil service appointment. You're supposed to go represent and help the people. And what's happening is, I seem to be the only one out of the people that's running and that has a platform that's designed to help people, helping the unemployed by making their unemployment insurance tax exempt, helping the elderly by making their Social Security tax-free and giving them that benefit, that option to get both benefits for a period of 24 months. And why 24 months? Because statistics show that 80% of the time, if you and your spouse are close in age, that within that 24 months,
they both go.
The second spouse is going to follow, just like my parents. Yeah. My father died in April 2018. My mom passed in May of 2019, 13 months later. Okay, and that's statistically what is normal. I mean, you lose somebody you're with 50 years, you're just not going to live that much longer.
It's a hard, I've seen it time and again. It's very difficult. And again, it's like an open wound, and then you want to pour salt in the wound by telling them all of a sudden now, you need to be concerned about where your finances are now because your spouse is gone. That's just not right. And that along with, and you mentioned, and I happen to know this, but a lot of the younger ones that listen, they don't realize this because they're not in the same category I am, but I happen to know about them, and it just irritates the heck out of me that this is money I've already paid in. I was taxed when I paid it in, and now they want to tax me again when I take it out. It's just not right.
No, that's the difference between a conservative and a progressive, right? The progressive wants to give you everybody else's money. The conservative wants you to keep your own. And that's what I want to do. I want you to get your money. You paid in, you should receive it tax-free. Yep. You laid it out. You should keep it. I don't want to take everyone else's money from them. I want you to keep what's rightfully yours.
I think that's a pretty neat idea, considering what's going on today. But again, if you look around the country today, in those areas that are, generally speaking, democratically controlled, are the areas that are facing the most restrictions on their people as well. So the benefits that the people have been drastically reduced, and the freedoms of those people have been drastically reduced. Is that what this is? I mean, I'm asking those on the other side of the microphone, is that what you want for your future? Because that's what we'll get. We'll just get more of the same. And I'm tired of the same. I've been more than tired of the same. I'm ready and more than ready to see a positive change. Anybody can make a change. I want to see a positive change. I want to see us go back to the America that we used to have, because we don't have that today. And with people like Mike, that's what we're going to have.
That's right. Yeah. You know, the foundations have been destroyed, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
The foundations.
It's funny, I used the same word, I think earlier today, I said our foundations have been destroyed. Isn't that unusual? And you just said it, the same words that I said. People are coming to this, what's the best way to describe it? This I can't think of the right word. Coming together in a spiritual way more now than before. I find it very curious that I use the same exact word. How often could that? But what's the odds of that? I used the same exact words earlier this morning to somebody. That the very foundations are being destroyed. This is something that people are just idly standing by and doing nothing about.
Yeah, and that's a large part of it. So it's like David said, what can the righteous do when the foundations have been destroyed? And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing the destruction in the foundations, the biblical foundations that this country was founded upon. Those truths are gone. They're not what they used to be.
They've been manipulated.
Yes.
Manipulated in a way to get mixing a little bit of truth and some lies in there. And so it's more appealing to people. Yeah. The idea that the constant idea from the progressive left eye, if you want to call them that, is we're going to get you some, we're going to give you, and people don't stop long enough to think, how are they going to get that? Where are they going to get that from? They have to get it somewhere. They're going to get it from people who pay taxes.
Right, and what's worse is they want to take away the incentive to work and do well.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's worse, because nothing destroys the human spirit more than to not do anything, not to be productive, not to produce. That's what you're designed. You have a purpose. God gave you a purpose to be productive and produce. I mean, they take that away from you. They reward those that don't do anything, that don't make anything. They want you to be dependent upon them, the state.
Yeah, I agree. Before you came on in the monologue, I was saying that there's more damage being done to people by the quote, the cure or the prevention, however you want to call it, than it is the disease. We are social creatures. We need to be able to experience each other, not only from an emotional and a spiritual standpoint, but actually from a scientific standpoint. According to Dr. Erickson out of California, in order for us to really get better, we have to expose ourselves to each other. That's how our immune systems are introduced to different viruses, and then they build the immunities to those viruses. Staying at home, hiding from this thing, and then everybody coming out at one time, what do you think is going to happen? We're probably going to have a second wave. Now, the president has been set where they can tell us to go home and stay home, which, again, they have no authority to do this. I've said this time and again. The government doesn't have the authority to make you stay home. That's just not within the realm of, they have the power. They got the cops. They got the people with the guns who come to your house and say and threaten you, but they don't have the authority. This is where we've lost a lot of the meaning of a representative. And Mike, I have said, you said it tonight, but I have said repeatedly, when I believe that when the forefathers put this country together, their idea of somebody being a politician was in service to the country, just like a serviceman is in service to a country. They go and they perform a service for our country. And then they come back, in this particular application, they come back and let new ideas come in. And those ideas come back, and then new ideas. There's always, I think in their mind, they wanted to see a revolving door, if you will, every 4 or 6 years of new blood, fresh ideas. That's how we move forward, not with the same people constantly manipulating the system to their advantage and harming the citizenry.
Well, there was something that, and you probably don't remember this because it was a while ago, but on October the 3rd of 1789, George Washington went onto the congressional floor, and he said this. Now, this was a proclamation to make Thanksgiving Day of 1789 a holiday, a day set apart. He said this: "Whereas it is the duty of all nations to acknowledge the providence of Almighty God, to obey His will, to be grateful for His benefits, and humbly to implore His protection and favor. And whereas both houses of Congress have by their joint committees requested me to recommend to the people of the United States a day of public thanksgiving and prayer, to be observed by acknowledging with grateful hearts the many favors of Almighty God, especially by affording them an opportunity peaceably to establish a form of government for their safety and happiness."
How far have we drifted from that?
And that's one of the things that I plan to bring up when I get there. Is how far have we drifted from that?
Wow.
Because
go ahead.
You don't hear anybody get on the congressional floor and say it is the duty of all nations to acknowledge the providence of Almighty God, to obey His will, and to be grateful for His benefits anymore.
So true. Sad, but so true. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'm going to open up the lines. If you want to call in, if you have a question or a comment, you can do that. The phone lines will be open. The number to call in, 561-440-5174. 561-440-5174. We'll be taking your comments or your questions when I come back. Don't go away.
You're listening to only the best internet radio station in the world. No, the universe.
WCT-FM.
Carolina Radio, Columbia.
WCT-FM invites you to join the hosts and listeners alike in our new chat room located on WCTFM.com. Your talk station and now your chat location. Just go to WCTFM.com and click the chat and listen page. It's that easy, so hurry up and we will see you there, my friends. So go to www.WCTFM.com.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Pet Connect Plus offers a connection to your pet, living or past, with the use of Tarot. Ruby, the owner and intuitive reader for Pet Connect Plus, will make a connection to your pet for guidance on specific questions and general past, present, and future readings of your pet. A connection with an owner and a pet together will run $55 for 50 minutes, or a connection with one pet alone is $35 for 30 minutes. What a deal. Pet Connect Plus can be found at PetConnectPlus.com and on Facebook at Pet Connect Plus. Connect with Pet Connect Plus so we can make a connection with your beloved pet to provide them with a fulfilling and rewarding relationship with you. Get connected today. PetConnectPlus.com. WCTFM says size does matter. We have a large variety of free radio archives for you to go back and listen to. Size does matter, and WCTFM's archives are huge, with shows like Money and Change, Bare Knuckled, Kindness Beyond the Veil, Supernatural Realm, Show Us Don't Tell Us, The Red Pill Reality Show, The Prostitute Podcast, Dinner with the Klings, In Contact with Dr. Rand, Uncensored, and even our flagship, Late Night in the Midlands, all free. So don't hurt yourself because it's really big. Go big or go home. WCTFM.com, your home for talk radio and free radio archives. Hey, late nighters, you can keep up with all things WCTFM and L&M by joining our mailing list. Just go to the bottom of the homepage and subscribe. You'll get everything from guest info and show info and other important station-related information. So go sign up now. WCETFM.com.
Take the red pill, take the blue pill, take the red pill, take the blue pill. Take the red pill, take the blue pill, take the red pill, take the blue pill. Take the red pill, take the blue pill, take the red pill, take the blue pill. You take the red pill, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. This is your last chance. This is your last chance. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, 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 take the red. You stay in Wonderland. You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Goes, 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 story ends.
Now, from sunny South Florida, it's the Red Pill Reality Show with your host, Riscala. Every Saturday night from 9 p.m. to midnight on the L&M Network. And now, your host, Riscala.
Take the red pill, take the blue pill, take the red pill, take the blue pill.
All right, we are back. It is a Red Pill Reality Show. An honor and privilege to have you listen in. Still having some feedback coming back here. I have to figure out where that's coming from. Thank you for taking time to listen. It is an honor and a privilege to have you tune in. Tonight I have Mike Velarde. Mike is running for District 21 here in Palm Beach County for Congress. If you want to see real change, this is the man. Give him the opportunity. One of the things, and I compared him, again, only because there's parallels between them. Not that they are the same, but there's parallels. And when President Trump, before he was president, he said, "What have you got to lose? Look at the situation that we have today. Truly, what have you got to lose? This man has all the credentials of a fighter. And is that what we want? That's what I want. I want somebody to go up there and kick their butts up there and start lining these people and holding their feet to the fire, making them responsible, because they're acting with impunity right now. And we have suffered through this over and over and over. And what is the definition of insanity? Keep doing the same thing and expect something different. That's the definition of insanity. I think we've had enough of that. I think it's time for somebody that can go in there and make a change. Welcome back, Mike.
Thank you.
All right, I think I have, let me go to call this area code 561. Are you there, 561?
Yes, I'm here, yes.
Your first name?
Cindy.
Oh, Cindy, how are you?
How are you?
Good. You got a comment or a question or something for Mike?
I do have something for Mike. Mike, you see we have the situation here in our area. It's huge, especially in Lake Worth. I just drove by there again today, and I see there's even more tents than before. What can we do, and what can you do in Congress, if anything, to help the situation? I know it's on a county level, and I know it's on a city level, but I've noticed there's more. I mean, a lot more homeless out here today.
Mm.
Well, Cindy, I'm glad you asked that question. There is somebody who I plan to partner with that builds what's called log bag homes. I don't know if you know what those are, but those are houses that can be easily manufactured, basically using soil that gets bagged, and they build them up, and they have developed a way to create a self-sustaining community very inexpensively.
Wow.
With solar panels for energy, running water. There's some land that's available a little west of here that if I get into offers, I plan to get a grant that will be able to work with this particular company that will build thousands of homes or create thousands of homes for the homeless.
Well, that sounds really great. I've not really heard about those. I've heard of other ones, but this sounds really interesting. Mm-hmm. Now, can I ask you another question, such as would they be able to co-partner, meaning that some of the people, like I know that a lot of the homeless, some of them come out of the construction industry, would they have them help
build it like I know Habitat for Humanity. They have the person save the money. They have parts in it. You know what I mean? So they could take self-pride.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we want to get the homeless to the position. Now, there's a lot of reasons for different people being homeless. One is, of course, the drug epidemic, which is problematic. Secondly, as you know, we've gone down there. We've sat and we've talked to the homeless. We brought them food. We've brought them clothes, and we've sat down with them and said, okay, why? How did this happen to you? Some it's just the lack of affordable housing. In other words, they might only be getting a $600 check. Well, that's what this partnership would help sustain. So somebody who has $400 a month, $600 a month could have a roof over their head, and live a decent life with shelter and food. And
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, it is. And one of this particular guy that's involved with this company, I've known him for years. He's a client of mine, and he's done a lot. And I do have plans to work with him, when I get to Congress, so that we can solve this issue. There's cheap land that's available, and with grant money it could be purchased, and we could start a project that will alleviate the homeless in this area.
Wow.
That would be beautiful.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Anything else there, Miss Cindy?
That's it for right now, because that seems to be one of our real pressing issues. And I think I think, Mike, you'd suggested before that also it would also help with the addiction and things like that, because you'd be able to know what people's needs are, whether they need mental health care, whether they needed to be off of drugs, and also transitioning them to the workforce. You were sharing a little bit of that with me once before, and I thought maybe you could elaborate a little.
Matter of fact, Tuesday, when I see you Tuesday, we're going to call this person, and we're going to get his plan, and we're going to get it and make it part of our website. Remind me to do that. Okay.
Wonderful. Awesome. I know that.
Oh, we lost her.
Yeah, we lost her. Yeah.
I think she hit the wrong button on her phone. Let me get to the next call here. Area code 954. 954. Going once. 954-242. 954-242. You're on there.
Hi, thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking my call tonight. I appreciate it. I am looking forward to being retired sometime in the future. I'm only in my late 50s right now.
Spring chicken.
Well, I'm looking forward to knowing what Social Security has for me now and how long it would take you to implement a plan that would help me not pay taxes on that Social Security income.
Okay, say that one more time.
Well, I'm looking forward to being collecting Social Security in the future, and I'd like to know when I would be able to do that and how long it would take you to put your plan forward so that I don't have to pay taxes on that.
Well, it would be my first piece of legislation because it's morally wrong. They never should have taxed it because you get no tax benefit when they take the money from you. It was done under the Clinton administration. It's taxable now up to 85%, but it's your money being returned to you. And it is the first thing I plan to work on as soon as I get to Congress, to point out the fact that this is double taxation, and we shouldn't have any authority to tax money that's your money that's coming back to you. You paid in for 40 years. It's your money. They're giving it back to you. You already paid tax on it when they took it from you. Okay, no reason for you to pay double tax on it again. I don't think a lot of people are aware of it. Me, because I'm a tax expert, I've been in the tax business. I've seen this inequity, and it's the first thing I plan to address when I get to Congress.
Well, thank you. I hope it's good and speedy.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Anything else? Any comments?
Well, that's my biggest concern, just because I have that in the future to look forward to.
Mm-hmm. It is irritating to know that you've paid once and then you have to pay again. Wasn't good enough the first time, going to get you for the second time. All right, my dear. Well, thank you. I didn't get your first name.
Patricia, thank you very much for having me.
All right, Patricia. An honor to have you call in. Thank you so much.
Yes, remember me, Velarde 2020. That's the website, www.velarde2020.com. Please support us.
Thank you. I'll look that up now.
I wish you a great evening. I think we have Cindy back. Cindy, is that you?
Yes, it's me.
You hit the wrong button, didn't you?
No, the phone died.
Oh, okay. All right.
I'm like, oh no! So I got Armando's phone.
So I think you were right in the middle of something and you just cut right out.
I know.
And do you remember what it was?
I was sharing about the situation with the homeless and how they can get jobs done, and that Mike is the fighter in the ring.
Mm-hmm.
And that with Mike we all win because he is definitely the horse in the game. And if you ever a betting person, and I'm not, but I just can tell by character, Mike would definitely be the one I'd put my name and my money in, and put him on that ballot and get him in for 2020. Actually, he would really be an asset to our president as well to accomplish things that need to get done because of his experience. And like you said already, nobody in the race of the Republican Party has any of his years of expertise or the knowledge in what he already has because he's actually lived it and worked in it and done it. The other issues that are out there are nothing to do with us as human beings. It's basically for media purposes, which we need more than just media purposes. I just don't need my voice censored. I need life application, such as what was already on the platform of Social Security not being taxed, of unemployment not being taxed, of health plan, and also of term limits. Those are things that affect my life and most every American life. And that's what I think Mike's all about. He's not about a party. He's about you, the person, an American. If you're an American, he wants to see you blessed and that you're walking in the freedoms that you have because we are a republic. And what that means is we are self-governing, not government governing.
Amen.
And I just want to say one more thing because I was listening to you earlier in regards to this coronavirus. First of all, when did the government become our healthcare providers and our healthcare telling us what we can and cannot do? My understanding of government is they're supposed to govern the laws that already exist.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need them to be my mommy and my daddy. I know how to take care of myself. I raised a son. I have a grandson. I pretty much know how to take care of me. So I don't need the government telling me what's good for me. Right? I just like it. I'm where you're at on that, Rascarla. I feel it passionately. I want to scream it from the rooftops. I want to pull people's masks off and say, breathe, just breathe.
I see them driving down the road, windows up, air conditioner on, and they got a mask on. And it's just,
I know, it's insane.
It's sad.
And then they pull it down to smoke a cigarette. I'm like, if you're so worried about dying, just don't smoke a pack of cigarettes.
It is sad. It's sad that these people have been. It's sad and it's scary.
It is.
The sad part is to see how they have been manipulated into this idea that they should be wearing this for the protection of their life. The scary part is how easily so many have been manipulated. So many that have been.
It is scary.
Because
and
if they can manipulate them.
Somehow we've got to get the word out there for these people to not live in fear. And unfortunately, I am a Christian. I'm a born-again believer. I'm not fortunate about that. But unfortunately, I see the body of Christ walking around like that. That is really scary.
No, well, when they.
Well, we need help with the website, www.velarde2020.com. We need people to join the team. We need people to help us get the word out, support us financially as well as being able
if you want to get behind Mike, the best way right now is really if you can go to www.velarde2020.com and give a donation, whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20, whatever you can, the best that you can, free from your heart, because it takes money because we live in this plateau and everything costs money. I wish it didn't, but that's just the reality.
Me too.
So if you can be a blessing in that aspect as well, that would be great. That means that you're put your name, you put your life sweat, which is our dollars, which shows our blood sweat, right? Because we work hard for it, that you're putting it on the right person to represent you and to stand and fight the good fight. Because it is going to have to take a good fight. because we are in a battle. We are in a war.
We're in a war.
It's an invisible war, as you hear the president say, but it is definitely a war. And the way we win the war, we don't have to go out there with our uniforms on and guns. It's by putting our dollars on the person that's going to make the difference and trusting and believing in that person and helping them to fight the fight. He's going to fight for you. Right now you got to fight for him to get him in, and it takes dollars. It really does, and that's just the reality.
No, the president himself has said, I cannot do this alone. I need your help. And one of the best ways we can help is to send people up there that are going to work with him. Because for 3 years, at every corner he has turned, the Congress has basically spit in his eye. And by sending somebody like Mike up there, he will have one more person in his corner. And right now he needs everyone that he can get. Look at the situation around this country today. I would not, I don't know why he allowed them to do that. I'm not going to make that decision right now. But I can imagine how difficult it was for him, who had raised this country's economy to the highest that it has ever been in any economy on the face of this planet in the history of the world, to have the most, I can't think of the right word, just an economy that's just roaring so strong, to have to say, I got to cut it, I got to cut the gas off. I got to stop it, I got to kill it. He knew damn well when he made that decision, he knew this is going to really, really, really hurt. Could you imagine the strength that it would have taken if, people say he's an egomaniac, this, that, and the other. If it was about his ego, he would have said he would have never done that. He would have never closed the borders down. He would have never stopped the Chinese from coming over here. He was, no, we need the money. Let's have the money. So that says something about him in and of the way that he is handling things. From that point forward, I'm not making any decisions right, wrong, and different. I'm saying that how strong of a person would it be to watch something that they have built so well that no one else has been able to do, say, well, now I got to take it down? Now, the thing I know about this man, he doesn't look at it like I wish I could change my mentality the way I look at it. I look at, if it were me, like my company, I'm having to close my company, it feels like a failure. For him, it's a challenge, and the challenge is, all right, now we make it better than it was before. Well, you want to make it better than before, you better start thinking about people like Mike Velarde. Otherwise, we're going to be spitting in the wind.
People like Mike Velarde. Yeah. You have to. You won't succeed if you don't put the right people in the right positions, and that's why Mike is the right guy for this position. And with Mike, like I said, we all win because we need him in Congress.
Yep. I agree with you, my dear. All right. Mike, you got anything for Cindy?
Yeah, no, Cindy, great. Thank you. Thank you for contributing, Cindy. I mean, listen, we got a great platform and we got a great healthcare plan. We have things for the economy to help people. My whole goal is to help the constituents. Just like I stand up for the taxpayer against the IRS, I will stand up for the constituents in Congress. So it doesn't matter if you're Democrat or Republican or independent. You want somebody like me that's going to go there and fight for you.
Amen. That's what we're looking for. All right, Miss Cindy, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to call in. We're going to go to another call. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
You muted out. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay, area code's 754, but it says Fort Lauderdale. That's bizarre. 754, your first name.
This is Lynn, and that's a newer cell phone prefix for Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, my goodness. So we have 954 and we have 754. Well, Lynn, welcome to the Red Pill Reality Show with tonight. I am your host, Riscala, with Mike Velarde. You have a question or a comment?
Several, may I? I want to thank you so much for what you're doing and having Mike on tonight. He has several volunteers, and we love work. I am one of them and love working with Mike, and he is the man. I'm 71, and my dad was a 30-year Marine, and he'd roll over in his grave if he could see what's happening to this country for which he, fought for so hard, and, across the oceans, and me being a military brat, how you have to live without your dad, and wondering what day he's going to come home in a box, and so Mike is one who will help us keep what George Washington and all the the veterans have fought to keep. One of the ways people can contribute is to pray really hard. I call Mike my congressman, Congressman Mike.
Thank you.
So, I'm tired of being a mushroom. Mushrooms are fed bull stuff and kept in the dark.
That's right.
And Mike will shine a light on that, and we're tired of the mushrooms.
Yep.
Also, if Mike, are you available to do TV shows as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's what we need. We need to get on TV. We need to get the word out there. I want people to understand my platform, know who I am, what I stand for, and what I plan to do for the constituents of Congressional District 21.
Exactly. So we need help, I would think, to see who could help you get on a platform like that. And are you open to speaking at organizations as well?
Sure, absolutely.
Thank you. Mike's the real deal, if that's the way I see it. And I'm so grateful for him, and thank God for him and his team and everybody out there. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn. I appreciate it. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, listen, Lynn, I want to thank you, and I appreciate you. And we want to do it. We want to do the job for the people, for the constituents. You know, we want equity for people. We want tax. We want to talk about tax-exempt Social Security, term limits, get rid of the corruption out of politics, helping the unemployed, health care plans. I mean, people need quality health care. You know, and you're not going to do it with a Bernie Sanders plan. You know, I've developed a healthcare plan that's available on my website, Velarde2020.com, which instead of taxing the wealthy, we give tax incentives to the wealthy to give to medical scholarships. We'll give you 100% tax deduction, a 2% tax credit. We create $300,000 scholarships. When the best students accept those scholarships, they go to work for the state. And as a result of that, you can now have a state plan which eliminates two of the biggest costs of healthcare, which is number one, the cost of the medical biller, and secondly, the cost of the malpractice insurance. So anybody can have healthcare for $79 a month and a $25 copay, or $129 a month and a $5 copay, depending on how much you're going to go to the doctor. Student, and you're going to once or twice a year for $79 a month, you're covered. If you have cancer and you have an ailment, for $129 a month, your $5 copays keep the cost down. I believe in keeping all the costs reasonable, giving you a viable alternative. Okay, but nothing should be for free, because as soon as you give something away for free, you destroy it. Imagine if McDonald's was giving away free hamburgers, what would happen? There'd be that one guy that says, "Give me 50,000, I could always feed the ducks." You destroy it. There has to be value.
Yeah.
So it has to cost you something.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it needs to be reasonable in cost.
Have some skin in the game.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, you know, student loans, that's another issue, right? These college student loans. You know, I never heard or listen to these progressives. They want to give everything, you know, make the student loans for free, all that stuff. But you know what they never talk about? They never talk about the fact that Harvard will pay somebody like Elizabeth Warren $400,000 to teach one class. You want to cut the tuition in half? Take her $400,000 and make it $200,000, and all of a sudden now tuitions are cut in half. Or the fact that they'll pay Hillary Clinton $300,000 to show up and speak for an hour.
I wish I could do that.
Because they're liberal elitists. They want to keep their elitist lifestyle, and they never bring up the fact, what are the universities doing to lower tuition, to keep costs down for these students?
They're doing the opposite.
They're doing the opposite, and that's something that I will address too.
Lynn, anything else for Mike? Are you there, Lynn?
I think she's gone.
Yeah, I show her on the board, but I guess she may have muted herself out.
I'm sorry, you were talking to me. Thanks for letting me talk.
I was asking.
I live in District 21, and I just can't wait to see Mike up in Congress.
You know, while we're saying District 21, Mike, where does District 21 run? How big is the district? What is it? What are the parameters?
Well, it goes up to Juno Beach on the north side, Boca on the south, west over to Wellington, and pretty much every in between. You got Delray, you got Boynton Beach, you got West Palm Beach, you got Palm Gardens. So it's a pretty big district, about 770,000 voters.
And knowing what we know now about Mike and his capacity and what he's able to do, I would highly suggest to you to go over to Vilardi2020.com, and it's VILARDI 2020.com. And let's, you know, I've said many times, not one of us can do this. It requires us working together. And that's what this is about. That's why I wanted him on tonight. This is something that we can do that will help us right away. He will be able to manipulate himself through the you-know-what that's up there, the stuff that floats in the toilet. He will be able to manipulate through that because he's had to deal with it before. This is the best candidate, the most qualified candidate that we can send. If I am a former employer, when I would employ somebody, one of the first things I would do is look at the credentials. What have they done? What kind of experience do they have? What kind of fortitude do they have? What kind of situations have they been in? Because I might have them in a situation that might be stressful. What happens if they get into a stressful situation and they can't handle it? So you want somebody who's going to be able to tangle with the tigers, if you will, without being eaten at the same time. Come out on the top. And this is the kind of guy that I believe Mike is. And that's the kind of people we need in our government. We've got too many parasites, way too many. And many of them have pushed themselves into a position of almost like a godlike position, like they're no longer supposed to be representing us. They represent themselves, and how dare you question anything they say. I'm not saying that's true for our representative. I'm saying that is true for many of them out there who believe along this line. I can tell you what's true for our representative. We've had the same, you know what, year after year after year after year. I'm tired of it. I'm sick of it. I was sick of it a while back. I just didn't have anybody. There was nobody that I could come up with that could face these people. We got them now. We got a Mike Tyson, if you will, that can get up there and kick some butt. And if we don't take advantage of this opportunity, we have nobody but to blame but ourselves then. If we end up without Mike up there and having to deal with more of this nonsense that we have going on here, then, my friends, you got nobody to blame but yourselves. Because the opportunity is before you right now to put somebody up there that can represent us in a responsible way. I can get you somebody to go up there who's got lots of money and they'll represent you. And as soon as the doors close, they're representing them or big corporations. Anything but you, because you are just a little pawn in this little game. They've lost the respect for the citizenry. This is a citizen who wants to go up there and introduce that respect back into government again. That's what we need. That's really what we need. All right, I got a couple more calls. I'm 734, another 734, 778. Your first name. Area code 734.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Yes, Bonnie Pettinga. I currently reside in North Palm Beach, Florida, and I am running for District 1 School Board of Palm Beach County.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm looking forward to serving our community and standing up for what's right and providing our children with a solid core academic education rather than a experimental education.
And how can Mike help you do that?
Mike, he can share it with as many people as as he knows and comes up against it, and within various opportunities of the circle of friends and acquaintances that he meets who have the same interest in flipping the Palm Beach County school boards, so that we can gain back solid core academic education rather than the political hidden agendas that our children have been indoctrinated with for so many years.
Bonnie's a great lady. She's running for school board. I fully support her. She recently became part of my team. We're supporting each other because what's happening in the education system, of course, is they're taking it all the way to the left, and this is part of the issue that we're having. That's why we see our young people going for people like Bernie Sanders, who are communists. And Bonnie's a fighter. She's a sweet lady, and she'd do an excellent job on that school board.
Well, we'll make sure to keep you in mind there, Miss Bonnie.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Any other questions or comments for Mike there, Bonnie?
No, I'm just, I am honored to be supporting Mike Velarde, and I'm looking forward to continually working with him to achieve our goals and to make a difference within our communities and governmental positions.
All right, my dear. Well, you're welcome to hold on if you like. I've got another call coming across, so you have anything else before I go?
I can't think of anything else.
All right.
I just want, other than just want to thank you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you taking time to call in. Okay, area code 954798. You're on. Your first name, please.
Pamela.
One more time.
Pamela.
Well, welcome. How are you?
Fine, thank you. How are you doing?
I am doing well. You have a comment or a question for Mike Velarde?
Yes, you guys were saying earlier on about the foundation is being destroyed. Mike, would you be able to help? Because the foundation starts with our children. They're the foundation of the next generation. And what we've seen going on so far is everything has been put in place to turn little boys to girls and girls to boys and getting to the core of what our foundation should be. And I was just wondering what influence or what steps would be taken when you get in to help bring them back to that solid foundation that they were before this LGBTQ, whatever they're and what they're associated with, start coming into the school system and influencing our children to behave the wrong way. The other thing is, how about bringing back the Pledge of Allegiance into the school system so that our kids will have some sort of civic pride and know exactly what their country stands for, and to be able to have more allegiance to what's going on and know, and even to be more, to be a better citizen then. You're starting at the core so they can build on that instead of what we see going on. Just like how they took prayer out of the school and then we get the guns coming in. So when you take the fence down, anything can happen after that. So we still need that protection around the kids up until they go to college. We still need it there. And I don't know how you would be, Mike, be able to do something to help get that to come about.
Well, Pamela, thank you. You know, one of the things I've looked into is the writings of the founding fathers, George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and it's amazing to see that they had such an emphasis on God. And for instance, when I started to read the speech that George Washington gave on the 3rd day of October in 1789, and he went on to say in here, he said, and also that we may then unite in most humbly offering our prayers and supplications to the great Lord and ruler of nations, and beseech him to pardon our national and other transgressions, to enable us all, whether in public or private stations, to perform our several and relative duties properly and punctually, to render our national government a blessing to all the people, by constantly being a government of wise, just, and constitutional laws, discreetly and faithfully executed and obeyed, to protect and guide all sovereigns and nations, and to bless them with good government, peace, and concord. Now, I will remind our congressmen, our senators, and our president of what our founding fathers said. and what they did to make this country a great nation. The principles, the foundations of you go to Washington, they have the 10 Commandments here by the Supreme Court. We forgot those 10 Commandments. We actually are pushing religions in this country that violate each and every one of those commandments. And it's despicable to see it because that's the ruination of this country.
There are places.
I agree with you. Why does the state have the right to dictate to the parents what school they send their kids to the point now, because the charter schools are not as lenient as the state schools, they're threatening to close those down and also threatening to punish the parents who are doing homeschooling. They want to get rid of all of that.
Well, you got to understand, as a congressman, I have no authority over the states and what the states do.
Okay.
It's a separate form of government.
All right. So as a congressman, you would not be able to do anything towards these issues.
Well, I mean, there's states have rights; they're sovereigns, So if you're going to talk about things that the states are doing, that's not someplace that we're going to be effective talking about. It's be outside of.
Okay.
That's not within the scope of his authority, I guess is the best way to put it.
Okay, Mike, I just hope District 21 wake up out of their slumber and their sleep and really see what's going on and see that you are the right person for the job and just, go ahead and put their vote there and at least show up at the polling station, because this mailing vote thing to me is another way of cheating the system.
I agree. I agree 100%. We must not allow this mail-in voting. There's been too many times when they find all of a sudden at the last minute, we found all these ballots.
Mm-hmm.
That's just too convenient. Too many times that's happened.
Really, really.
All right, Pamela. Anything else for Mike before you go?
No, just keep pushing behind him and wish him all the best, and keep praying that God will intervene supernaturally and bring what needs to be coming to place so that he can get there to make a difference.
All right, my dear.
Thank you, Pamela. We appreciate you very much, Pamela. God bless you.
Blessings.
I wish you an awesome evening, Pamela. Thanks for calling.
No problem.
Okay, we next call, 561-909, your first name. 561-909, your first name. They're trying.
Sorry about that. I had it on mute. My name's Kathy.
Hi, Kathy. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. And I just wanted to say that I absolutely echo Pamela's call. It's so important that we get a hold of these schools because. But so what is it? I really don't know this candidate very well, and so I really want to know what his values are and what he will do, and not talking points. I want to know what his agenda is and what he's going to be pushing for that's going to benefit the people and their liberty, and that, and does he recognize that the people don't get their rights from government? And so this whole virus thing started out as a voluntary thing for 2 weeks, and we complied on that. And now we're hearing all this mandatory stuff that's really alarming, a lot of the stuff they're going to be doing. So what are they going to be doing? Are they going to be, telling us that we've got to take a vaccine in order to buy and sell, to be able to do business? I mean, all this stuff that's going on is so alarming. And I want to know what this man's values is and what he's going to do.
Okay.
Okay, Kathy, let's start with the values. First, I wrote 3 Christian books on Bible prophecy, so I would encourage you to get one of them at MikeVelardeBooks.com. I think you by reading the book, you'll be firmly able to see what I believe in and what I don't believe in. I was on Christian television for 10 years. I'm a Christian. Like I said, I wrote 3 books on the Bible and Bible prophecy. So, of course, I'm a big constitutionalist. I understand that it's God that gave man his rights, his inalienable rights. I stand up for the things of God. Like I don't know how much did you hear me just read about George Washington and what he said?
No, I just tuned in a couple minutes ago. I'm sorry.
somebody told me that you were on, and I've been curious about you, so I just tuned in.
Oh, okay. Well, I just was sharing what George Washington had shared back in 1789, where he said, "Where it is the duty of all nations to acknowledge the providence of Almighty God, to obey His will, to be grateful for His benefits, and humbly implore His protection and favor." And if you read one of my books, you'll understand who I am and what I've done. You could, I've been on radio and television for a while. If you Google my name, put Mike Velarde Radio, Mike Velarde TV, you could have ample opportunity to listen to everything that I've done. I was a Fox News contributor on terrorism. I was a 9/11 responder. I had the opportunity.
I was going to say, oh, wonderful. Keep going.
Okay, I had the opportunity to sit down with the person that planned the Islamic takeover of America, a man named Kamal Salim, and spend 8 hours on television with him, interviewing him, and learning radical Islam from a guy named Zachariah Anani, who killed 234 people, committing jihad. I have a very diverse background. As a federal law enforcement officer, I never lost a case in my 22 years with the government. I had investigated Russian organized crime syndicates when they were stealing the gas tax in New York. I was on the drug task force. I did a lot of stuff like that. But most recently, for the 9 years since I've been retired, I've been protecting people against the Internal Revenue Service. I'm an IRS enrolled agent, and I fight for the taxpayer, you, the taxpayer. And that's what I'm going to do as a congressman. I'm going to stand up for you as the constituent. And my platform is simple. I believe that currently you're getting double taxed on your Social Security, so I want to make Social Security tax exempt when you receive it. You should not be taxed on 85% of the benefit because you already were taxed when they took the money from you. Secondly, I want to extend the widow benefit. So if you lose your husband, your widow can collect both benefits for a period of 24 months. So for a $25 fee, you can elect that so that you don't have to worry about being impoverished. Like has happened to some of these people recently. Some of the widows under our current Congresswoman Lois Frankel. That's what's been happening, and she has done absolutely zero about it. I believe in term limits. I don't believe people should be in there so that they can build their power structures for years and years, like Nancy Pelosi has. I believe you do your time, you get out. If you're supposed to serve the people, my job is to be your servant. That's my job.
And that's
serve
the proper
you, the
mindset.
constituents.
That's the right mindset. What are we going to do? We've got so many crazy-ass people in our government that are against the people. It's alarming. I mean, people are ready to start rising up. I mean, we've got a powder keg.
That's right.
We've got a powder keg.
Please get my book. You're 100%. Let me say this. We have serious problems that need to be addressed by serious people. And no one in this race has the qualifications that I have. I'm the only one that has worked for a Fortune 500 company, the Ford Motor Company, for 3 years, that's worked for the government for 22 years, and that has run his own businesses for the last 9 years, having to make payroll every week. Nobody else has those qualifications. There's some really good people on the Republican side, but no one has my qualifications. And nobody has gone and fought for people like I have. I fight the IRS every day. I get woken up at 8 o'clock in the morning by an angry IRS agent that wants to seize a taxpayer's bank account, and I got to stop him.
Well, you know what? You sound great to me, and so God bless you, and I hope you get it.
Thank you so much. And you can support us at Velarde 2020 because I'm not the most popular in this race, okay, because I'm no internet sensation. But I'll tell you this. I will get the job done. I'll get the job done for people of Palm Beach County. And if you want somebody that's going to be effective, if you want someone that's going to fight and not cow down anybody, all right? Listen, I've been in situations as a federal agent. I almost had shootouts when I was on the drug task force. I wanted to shoot a guy that threatened to kill me when I was investigating other crimes when I was with the government. I worked with the Secret Service. I protected kings and queens and legislators, okay? And I've seen the government. I've seen the inside of it. And you know what else? I've been a businessman. I know the economy. I know what it's like to have to make payroll every week.
And so what do you think about, these government servants of ours telling us that we may not, come out, we may not work? We didn't ask their permission. This is a country where we self-govern. That's what it is to be free. And we're not asking permission, but we're being criminalized as private citizens. It's enraging.
Let me say this to you, and then I'm going to shut my mouth. Do you think it was a coincidence that this happened just weeks after the President of the United States was acquitted in the Senate?
No, I don't. I think that it's more politics from the left, and I don't know why Fauci is being held up, because he's been wrong about everything, and he just wants to wreck our economy. And he's got some kind of interest in the sale of that drug and those vaccines, which I'd never, ever, ever take.
If it wasn't for this pandemic, do you think that Trump would have had any trouble getting reelected?
I don't think he's got any trouble getting reelected now.
I think it's a little more difficult now than before, though. There has been a shadow cast over him because of this. I think that he listened to these people, that he believed in what they were telling him. He knew the corruption existed, but I don't think he recognized that the corruption was so deep in the farm industry. I think he may have been surprised by that. And if I'm right, that probably the only thing that's ever surprised him since he's been doing what he's been doing, because he's been on top of it all the time and time again. I didn't agree with closing when they first announced it. I didn't agree with it at all. And then I agreed with it. I said, I began to believe what they were saying, that this was very deadly, and they expected a lot of people to die. But then within a day or two, it was pretty evident to me that we were being led on. And down,
like we're being trained.
So, Kathy, you said something that I say quite a bit. What can we do? As an individual, our powers are limited, but those powers become multiplied time and time again when we come together. One of the things that we can do is find more people like Mike Velarde to go up there and take care of business. Mike he's got his hands dirty time and time again. He's not afraid to get his hands dirty. He has to deal with these people, probably on a semi-daily or a daily basis with the IRS, because that's what he does now. So he knows how to manipulate the system in order to get things done. If we send somebody up there who doesn't have the qualifications that Mike has, let's just say we send the incumbent back up there, we're just going to have more of the same garbage that we have now.
We need an army of Mike Velarde.
Exactly.
We need an army of good patriots in there, and we've got to clean up this government. And so Godspeed to you, and I'll let you get to another caller.
All right, Kathy, thank you.
Kathy.
And that is something that we can do as individuals. This is our, we've done, I don't know how many shows on the emergence of the Reconstruction of America and the Reconstruction Act of the late 1860s and how that has affected us. But we've talked time and time again. It is a responsibility. As a citizen of the United States, you have a responsibility. That responsibility is to seek people who are going to represent you as your government. When you vote for these people, or when you don't vote for these people, you get what you deserve. Now, some of these people are really shiny on the outside. They got a great presentation, and as soon as the door closes, all that goes away. This is somebody who is transparent. This is somebody who has the background and has the history and the credentials to take care of all of that. So the thing that we can do, Kathy, is we can send more people like Mike up there. And what you and I can do is we tell our friends. You go to Mike Velarde, VILARDI 2020.com, and help.
Just Velarde 2020. Velarde2020.com.
I'm sorry.
Mike.
Yeah.
Just Velarde2020.com. Or please, Kathy, I want you to go to MikeVelardeBooks.com and get my book, because I think you're really going to like it. Or go see the testimonies on my website, winningtaxsolutions.com. There's a bunch of testimonies up there of what I've done for taxpayers against the IRS, and I think you'll enjoy to read those also.
All right, wonderful. Thank you so much.
All right, Kathy, thank you. Greatly appreciate you taking the time.
All right, thank you.
God bless.
So much. Bye-bye.
All right, let's see. We've got, I think it's 754-234. I don't know if this has ever got to this call before. 754-234.
Yes, this is Lynn. If
Okay,
I can have
good.
a second shot, please.
Yep, sure. Go ahead, Lynn.
Thank you. It's three things. Bonnie is a wonderful woman, parent, grandparent. Looks like she's 35, but a lovely woman, and so if you can vote for her. Also, welcome to Kathy, who just joined. You won't be sorry for voting for Mike Velarde. And number three, Mike, do you have suggestions for voting the day? And what do you think about the mail-ins and the call-ins?
So here's what people need to realize, that the most powerful weapon that we have at our disposal is our vote, and we must yield that weapon appropriately. And that's why I need people to vote for me, because I'll go and get the job done. And the power of the vote is tremendous, and we can't let it be wasted. And people, where I lack is I'm not known. I'm not as well known as some of the other candidates in this race, but I do have the best credentials. I will be the best fighter, and I will be the most effective, because I'll go to Washington with a passion and a purpose. And that purpose is going to be to protect you, the constituent. And I'll do a job better than anybody. I get calls from all over the country. People call me up and say, Mike, I heard you're the best. And they hire me to represent them before the IRS. And I tell them, you're right, and I get the job done. And that's what I'll do for you, the constituent. So realize that your power to vote, and get your friends and neighbors and relatives to vote for me and support me at Velarde 2020, because we need your support. We need to have the money to get the message out to people. We need the signs, we need the shirts, we need the hats, we need all that stuff. We need to be able to do effective television commercials. So when people see the commercial, they'll go, my God, this guy's so much better than Lois Frankel. So I need your help.
All they have to do is listen to you, and they can do that. But
Yeah.
I understand, yeah.
Listen, when I get to Washington, I will do my best to defend and represent you. But to get to Washington, I need you to do your best to help me.
Amen. All right, Miss Lynn, anything else for Mike?
Yes, thank you. It's amazing what it takes to even be on the ballot. And then it takes a lot more. It takes a lot of money. It's just hard to believe.
It is.
It's not just about your qualifications, and there's a whole lot of baloney out there that the people with the big bucks are going to get in there who don't care about us. But Mike cares about us. He will fight. He's a fighter with a big heart, and I believe he's been chosen. Personally, I believe he's been chosen by God to be our next representative, and I look forward to having him as my congressman. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynn.
Thanks, Lynn. Appreciate it. All right, now I don't know if I've got to this call before. 561-305.
Yes, hi.
Hello there. Your first name? Can you hear me? All right, you cut out. I don't know if you muted yourself, but I had you. I heard hi, and you were gone. Try it again. All right, well, I can't, I don't know if you can hear us or not, but you're not coming back through. I think you may have muted your phone. Maybe? All right, I'll leave you unmuted for a moment. Maybe you can figure out what happened on your end. In the meantime, let's do this. We are up, we're at the top of the hour, so we can take a quick break, and we'll come back, and then we'll take some more calls. You're listening to the Red Pill Reality Show. Tonight I have Mike Velarde, and a very sore throat from yelling my brains out yesterday. Tonight I have Mike Velarde on with me, and Mike is running for District 21 here in Palm Beach County. He wants to be our congressman, and I want to do what I can to help Mike get to that position, because I believe that this is a man who is going to be making the changes that we so desperately need. If you want to continue doing the same thing that we're doing and expect a change, then I believe that you're fitting the definition of insanity. That's what we've got. All right, here we go. Don't go away.
You're listening to only the best internet radio station in the world. No, the universe.
WCT-FM.
Carolina Radio, Columbia.
WCT-FM invites you to join the hosts and listeners alike in our new chat room located on WCTFM.com. Your talk station and now your chat location. Just go to WCTFM.com and click the chat and listen page. It's that easy, so hurry up and we will see you there, my friends. So go to www.WCTFM.com.
Do you need toner for your Epson, Hewlett-Packard, Canon, Brother, Apple, or Sharp printers? Look no further than Laser Technologies. In business for over 20 years, they offer the lowest prices on toner on the web. They can also repair your laser printers and toners fast and easy. Call their expert staff today at 561-792-9600 or email us at service@laser-technologies.com for all your toner needs. All toner is shipped nationwide. Why wait? Get the lowest prices on toner. Call or email us today.
Pet Connect Plus offers a connection to your pet, living or past, with the use of Tarot. Ruby, the owner and intuitive reader for Pet Connect Plus, will make a connection to your pet for guidance on specific questions in general past, present, and future readings of your pet. A connection with an owner and a pet together will run $55 for 50 minutes, or a connection with one pet alone is $35 for 30 minutes. What a deal. Pet Connect Plus can be found at PetConnectPlus.com and on Facebook at Pet Connect Plus. Connect with Pet Connect Plus so we can make a connection with your beloved pet to provide them with a fulfilling and rewarding relationship with you. Get connected today. PetConnectPlus.com. WCTFM says size does matter. We have a large variety of free radio archives for you to go back and listen to. Size does matter, and WCTFM's archives are huge, with shows like Money and Change, Bare Knuckled, Kindness Beyond the Veil, Supernatural Realm, Show Us Don't Tell Us, The Red Pill Reality Show, The Podstitute Podcast, Dinner with the Klings, In Contact with Dr. Rand, Uncensored, and even our flagship, Late Night in the Midlands, all free. So don't hurt yourself because it's really big. Go big or go home. WCTFM.com, your home for talk radio and free radio archives. Hey, late nighters, you can keep up with all things WCTFM and L&M by joining our mailing list. Just go to the bottom of the homepage and subscribe. You'll get everything from guest info and show info and other important station-related information. So go sign up now. WCETFM.com.
Take the red pill, take the blue pill, take the red pill, take the blue pill. Take the red pill, take the blue pill, take the red pill, take the blue pill. Take the red pill, take the blue pill, take the red pill, take the blue pill. You take the red pill, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, 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 take the red. You stay in Wonderland. You stay in Wonderland, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
You're listening to the Red Pill Reality Show with your host, Miss Scala, every Saturday night on the LNM Network from 9 p.m. to midnight. And now your host, Riscala.
Take the red pill, take the blue pill, take the red pill, take the blue pill.
All right, we are back. It is the Red Pill Reality Show. I am your host, Riscala, tonight coming from, let's try that again. I am your host, Riscala, coming to you live from Palm Beach County. And with me tonight, my guest is Mike Velarde. Mike Velarde is running for congressman in District 21, which covers pretty much, I think, just about all of Palm Beach County, pretty close to it. And a little bit, I think possibly a little bit north of us. Mike is someone who is the most qualified candidate of anybody that we can send up there. One of the callers, I believe her name was Kathy, said, what can we do? What can we do? With all that's going on around us today, the insanity that we're witnessing today, time and time and time again, I've tried to tell people, the people who are doing this to us don't have the authority. Unfortunately, they have the power, which is our fault. We have relinquished our power to them. We have allowed them to do what they're doing. And as a result of that, we're suffering tremendously today because of people whose responsibility, instead of looking at it as a service to the people, they look at it as a kingdom almost, like they are dictators, or they have become a king in some way, shape, or form, telling us what we can, what we can't do. And if you want to make a change, then we need to start sending people up into our government that represent us, that understand what the Founding Fathers had in mind for us. And that was a government that is represented by the people, for the people. We don't have that today. We haven't had that in a while. You want to make a change? Here's your opportunity. Welcome back, Mike.
Hey, thank you so much.
Now, if I remember right, I think do you work with veterans too?
Yeah, well, yeah, I do. I have a guy on my team that's an injured vet that's helping me with the veterans. My father was an Air Force veteran. He fought in the Korean War back in the 50s, and so I have a soft spot for veterans. I really do.
Well, thank you. So do I, because 22 of them a day, average, take their lives. 22 every day. That's quite a big number at the end of the year.
Yeah, it is.
And so whatever we can do for them is I'm all in support of that. All right, I've got a couple of other calls here, but I think we've gotten everybody. 734, this is Bonnie. I think this is Bonnie. Bonnie, 734, is that you?
Oh, you're back with me.
Well, I wanted to see, I see that you're still on. Did you have anything else that you wanted to ask Mike?
Well, I'm very pleased that Mike is running because he definitely stands alone on all the issues that relate to what you covered this evening, and those callers that were concerned about the issues that we're encountering with losing our freedoms. And I'm fully confident that Mike will get the job done.
Thank you, Bonnie.
No, I agree with you 100%, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing, my dear. All right, well, if you wish to continue holding, that's fine. Let me see if I've gotten everybody, because I've got quite a few calls up here right now. I think we got to this call already. 561-305, I think we've taken care of. 561-305?
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. I tried earlier and something happened with the phone situation. My name's Kelly.
Hey, Kelly.
How are you?
Good. Good, Kelly. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
Doing well. And hey, I enjoy the show. Love your monologue. Agree with everything.
Thank you.
And I just wanted to call in as, first of all, a testimonial to Mike Velarde. I met Mike about 8 years ago, and it was due to a tax issue. I'd like to say by no fault of my own, I was kind of bamboozled. But anyway, it was quite a bit. It was probably, I'll say, $50,000, $60,000. And so Mike said he would help me with this, with the IRS. And first go around, they said, nope, sorry, you owe it all. And you owe it all now. and I was, Mike said, oh yeah, that's not going to happen. We're not stopping there. So bottom line is, he got that reduced to about just under $3,000 to be paid off within a couple of years, interest free. But that was because he's a fighter. He knew his way around. I've heard him ever since I've known him. Now we've become pretty good friends, and he's been referenced as a pit bull. Everything I've seen him put his mind to, he has accomplished. I can say one thing too, Mike, you could be collecting a nice pension and retired and have a nice life right now, but no, you've decided to continue to do good for others. And I've seen you do it time and time again. You've got a huge heart, but more so, you definitely have the experience, the credentials. All of them, they're there. They stand true. You say what you mean what you say. I think that's another parallel, if you will, as you were referring to in the show earlier, with our president these days. And the other thing I wanted to say was back before all this COVID, when the candidates actually had the opportunity to speak and to debate, I was, able to go to quite a few of those and watch Mike Velarde on the stage with the other candidates now who are, the other ones up against Mike to go against here Lois Frankel, the incumbent. And I tell you what, he is the only one that had anything sensible, any kind of a plan, any kind of experience that made me confident that he could do the job. And not only that whoever wins this particular election for District 21, for the candidates, for the Republican candidates, has to be able to beat Lois Frankel.
That's right.
That's the thing. So, is that just you and me on the phone here, Mike?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay, good.
Quite a few.
I wonder if I had a host on here. But are you following what I'm saying? I mean, that's my biggest thing. It's like there's one candidate here that she's got all this financial backing. I have no idea why, but it's celebrity, whatever it may be. But we're in deep trouble if that person or anybody besides Mike wins this particular election, wins the primary. We're in deep trouble because none of them will be able to go up against Lois Frankel. None of them, and beat her. I've seen them all. And after, with the debates, I saw it. I witnessed it. They would, Mike would be invited to fewer and fewer, and it just makes you sick. Everybody has their little cliques and who they want to win and why do they want that person to win? Are they going to be their puppet? It's something like that. Mike is nobody's puppet. Mike he believes in, he's definitely a man of values. He's a man of God, and he believes in what he says, and he does what he says he'll do. And that's why I am 100%, behind him. I support you 100%, Mike, and you know that.
I do, Kelly. You've been the best, and I appreciate you very much.
Yeah, and you've done, more than words could say for me, besides the help with the tax. But thank you, thank you. He's remarkable. I mean, he's like, oh no, we're not stopping there, and he nailed it. He nailed it the second time, he nailed it, and it was awesome. But that's what I can see him doing up there in Congress. He will be one of those, Mark Meadows or Jim Jordan or Devin Nunes. He'll be one of those guys. We will know
That's what we need.
who he is.
That's exactly
and I
what we
just
need.
had to say that. So,
Well, thank you, Kelly.
yeah, and the same thing goes. As far as contributions and donations, obviously, campaigns are all about the money, and we need the support. And Frankel's got all hers, and I mean that's really all we're lacking here. And thank you for having him speak here tonight too, because Mike, we've got to get your voice out there, and what you stand for and what you can do.
Yeah, it's kind of, if we can get this show, be able to put it on Facebook so everybody could
I'll
share
archive.
it on.
Yeah, we'll archive the show.
Messenger.
Kathy, one of the callers, Kathy, said earlier, what can I do? Meaning her, what can she do? What each of us can do is share. This show will be archived. You can find it on the Red Pill Reality Show on Facebook. There'll be a link to the archive, which is on YouTube. I haven't figured out how to go on YouTube and put in Red Pill Reality Show and come up with me. You come up with a whole bunch of stuff. But anyway, there'll be a link there. And share that link with other people. Get the word out there so people can listen to Mike, get an idea of what kind of person Mike is. Many times I can make a fairly good diagnosis, if you will, of somebody by listening to the way they talk and how they come across and the way that they speak about particular subjects and their belief systems. Mike has been pretty transparent. How many of the other candidates openly admit that they're Christian? I think some of them would be ashamed to say that. They may not be. I'm just saying. I don't hear any of them openly saying that. The other thing that we talk about, unfortunately, just like with this radio station, we ask for donations. It's part of the system. It's a sad part of the system. And when we're talking about politics, it is a major component of the system. So the people who have lots and lots of money, particularly those who are getting their money from large corporate interests, that is where their loyalty is going to end up. He doesn't have all these big companies backing him. He doesn't have these large corporations spewing millions of dollars into his campaign. So his name becomes popular like the existing one. I don't even want to say their name. But you see what I'm getting at. So the only way we can circumvent that is there's a hell of a lot of us, I believe, that would support this man if we knew about him. So how can we do that? We share the information. We get the word out there. Go check out Velarde2020.com. Find out who this man is. The letter on his homepage speaks volumes about the kind of person that he is. We need more people like this. If you want to see a change in our government, honestly, has gone the wrong way. It has just gone completely rogue. And some of these people have allowed this power, if you will, which really isn't supposed to be, but they've allowed it to go to their heads. And they're literally demanding things from us that they don't have the authority to do. We as citizens have an option to deal with that. And the way that we deal with that is coming up around the corner. That is to get rid of them. Kick their behinds out, send them to the curb, and put someone in there who believes what they're doing is a service, is something that they are honored and privileged to do, instead of you, the citizen, are privileged to have me, the politician, represent you. It's a complete turnaround. That's what I see in Mike. So if you want that kind of government, then this is the kind of person that you need. Go ahead, Mike.
I agree 100%.
No, you know what, Kelly, I appreciate everything you said, and thank you because certainly you verified what I've done for people at the IRS and how I fought and won for you, even though the government might come in and say you got to pay it all. We got your thing reduced to $3,000, and we got we were able to help you out, and I appreciate you telling the people about your story and what I've done for you so they understand. And you're absolutely right. If we're going to turn this government around, it's about who we put in that office. And I wish I could sit here and tell you that I'd be comfortable with somebody else being in that office. But in all honesty, I feel I am the most qualified person because I have the experience that other people just don't have. And I have the ability to fight. I've been fighting the IRS for 9 years and winning. And that's a tough opponent. I don't think there's anybody who's dealt with the IRS that's going to tell you they're easy to deal with. They're not.
Mike, I'm a business owner. I started my business 24 years ago. As a new business owner, I didn't have a payroll service. I was doing it manually.
Oh boy.
Third quarter, I think it was, in my first year, I missed it. I just missed it. I don't know how I missed it. But 3 years went by. Now, mind you, it was a very small amount. Initially, it was only a couple of $1,000s, I think. But by the time they got back to me, it was upwards of $10,000 that they were demanding from me. They were threatening garnishment, all kinds of things. They were, and I don't want you to take this as an insult, but they were extremely nasty. In some cases, they wouldn't, if I didn't have the proper, they basically said, this is your fault. So everything that happens from this point forward is on you. Don't try to blame me for anything. I was only asking them to reduce the fines and the penalties. My God, it was like dealing with a loan shark. It was horrible. Had I known, I wished I had known somebody like you that could have turned that around for me. By the time it was all over and said with, after, oh my gosh, months, and having to pay regardless, still having to pay in order to keep my behind clean until we could come to a resolution. And months later, fortunately, I didn't end up having to pay all of it, but I ended up paying about 3/4 of it. And it just burned me to no end because I had no recourse whatsoever. I didn't have a Mike Velarde that could stand for me at the time. I didn't know that Mike Velarde existed. So this is the kind of person that can go up against these people. I have had the, I've had the fortune, if you will, of having to deal with them. It's not a good experience. It's not a good experience, I can promise you, let alone the amount of time that it takes. Just spend some time on the phone with these people and you'll see how quickly they give you the runaround. You need somebody who can go, hey, wait, that's not what we're talking about. This is what we're talking about. We need to address this now. Otherwise, you're just chasing your tail. And that's what happened to me. It was an extremely disturbing experience that went on for a very long time because I didn't know. I was completely ignorant to what was going on. You have somebody like Mike, he knows the system. He's fought the system. He's dealt with these people. He knows what's going on. You get somebody else who's got a lot of money, they're well-dressed, they speak real nice. Guess where they got their money from? They got their money either from a big corporation or very large philanthropist, did I say that right? Philanthropist donors. And where's the loyalty going to be? There's not going to be to you and me. We need one of us. I think when I look at Mike, I think of Mike as one of us. I don't think of Mike as a, quote, politician. I think of Mike as somebody that is a friend, per se, and somebody that is the opposite, if there is such a thing, as of a politician. The entire mentality that he displays to people is not what a politician thinks today. They all think that they're miniature dictators or gods up there. This man says, I'm humbled to be able to represent you. Just give me the opportunity and I'll fight. Isn't that what you want?
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, got a servant's heart, man. It's about serving the people and helping people. That's how I look at it. And that perspective is what the way our founding fathers designed the system to be like. It was never designed so people can go there, become wealthy, and become power hungry, and can do harm to others. And that's what it's.
And make it a career. I don't think it was intended ever.
It wasn't.
Yeah, I really don't think it was ever intended to be. A position in government that was to be a career. You know, I compare it to the military in the sense that people who are in the military are serving our country. They don't get the idea that you work for them. That never comes across the table with them. But unfortunately, what's happened with over the years and the degradation of the respect for the citizenry, this is what we've ended up with. Our recourse is to find people like Mike. If we don't, then we have nobody to blame but ourselves. That's really the bottom line. If we don't act now, we have the opportunity. We don't act now, and it goes the other way, I promise you're not going to be happy because the evidence is there. So you already have the history. One of the things I hated about school was history. Gosh, I wish I was more interested in history now than back then because I understand the importance of history. A track record. You can look at somebody's track record and say, okay, well, this is pretty much what they've been doing. Why is it going to be any different? Why is it going to be any different? It's not. And that's why we need somebody like Mike. All right, Miss Kelly, anything else you want to add?
No, I just, forever grateful to you, Mike Velarde. And I think I know he's the right person for this job. I 100% believe it. So that's all I want to say.
Well, thank you.
I'm behind you 100%. So thank you.
All righty.
Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody else, and Lynn, Bonnie, Cindy, and Pamela, everyone else that called in, and everyone that's on the team, because I got a real special group of people that's supporting me, and that really is half the game, is getting people that believe in you and support you, and go the extra mile to make the phone calls and do what it takes to get people to come vote for you. And I'm very fortunate in that regard, and I'm very proud of each and every one of the people that's working with me, that's on our team.
Each of us has a circle of influence, if you will, circle of friends, people. If you share the information, it doesn't take a whole lot of people. I think of the days of Martin Luther King. We didn't have internet back then. We didn't have cell phones and texting and all that stuff back then. Yet
Right.
this man was able to bring literally, I think it was 500,000 people to the Washington D.C. on the I forget what it's called, the lawn or whatever it is out there. So he did that. I believe he was able to do much of that because of the people that supported him. Said, hey, you got to go listen to this guy. Tell your friends, you got to go listen to this guy. Tell him, tell them, you got to listen to this guy. You got to hear what this guy's got to say. So if we do that as individuals, I think there was about 5 or 6 different people that called in tonight. If those 5 or 6 people tell 5 or 6 people, and those 5 or 6 people tell 5 or 6 people, you realize what that number is going to be very quickly, very, very quickly, because it's difficult for somebody like Velarde, who doesn't have a popular name. He's not the popular guy or girl that's going at the time. So he has all of that going against him, and it's more difficult to raise money. As much as he's able to raise, we can actually reinforce that by spreading the knowledge, by getting, because that's really what the money's for, is to get the knowledge out there. Hey, this guy is here. Well, we can help tremendously with that by simply sharing the information, telling other people, hey, listen, I'll have an archive set up. Hey, listen, go listen to this archive. Listen to this guy. Tell me what you think about what he's got to say. And you can make a decision by what this man has said tonight, because he's pretty much revealed himself. I don't think there's anything that he hasn't told you that that he hasn't hid from you, if you will. He's told you that he's worked for the government, he's worked for the IRS, he worked on the task force for the 9/11 Commission, or the 9/11 Task Force. He's been involved in the nitty-gritty of the nasties, if you will. He's not afraid to go back and do, I don't know who said it, but they brought up a good point. He could probably go retire at this point, just like the president. One of the things I respect about this man, I don't care how you feel about him, the bottom line is he could have easily, he's got enough money, he could have bought himself an island somewhere and said, to hell with all you people. I'm tired of this. He has been saying for decades, this man has been saying, I don't want to get involved in politics. I really don't like politics, but I don't like the way this country is being treated. We are being treated poorly. And if I ever got involved, then I would get involved to win. I wouldn't get involved to lose. And that's what he did. That's what I see with Mike Velarde. I don't think he really likes politics. I don't think of him as a politician. I think of him as one of us. And the difference is he doesn't have he's not part of the clique, if you will. I can't think of the right word to describe it. But that's how a lot of this works. He's not a popular. Remember when we were in school, Mike, and you had the popular group? It was easy for the popular guy to get just about anything that he wanted. That didn't mean that he was the most qualified. It just meant that he was the most popular. That's
right, exactly.
And
exactly. So we're trying to tell people. One of the people on my team came up with a slogan: "Vote right, vote for Mike," and it's a slogan. Hopefully, we can get out there that people will vote right, will vote for Mike, and Velarde 2020, of course, is our website, because we need to change what's happening, because one of our callers alluded to a little earlier. There's a division like we've never seen before in this country.
Right. Yep.
And it's how civil wars get started. And we've seen for the first time in many, many years basically a coup attempt on the president of the United States.
Oh, there's been more than that. Two
I mean, they
that
didn't-
have been out in the open, but there's been a lot more than that on this man.
Yeah, a lot more than that, and they set him up from the beginning, and because there's a cabal, and you know, I mean, I worked in government. I've seen the leftward leanings, but when you look at all the FBI agents, from Comey, McCabe, Strzok, you start counting down how many people got fired from the FBI. That's an institution where nobody ever got fired from back in the day, okay?
There was a big commotion over that when all that was going on. Oh, look at all the people leaving. They're all leaving because he's a bad guy. No, they're all leaving because they know what's coming. Justice is coming, and that's what we need. We need more justice. And if we don't have people like Mike, you can forget it. Because when these other people, if they win and get back, first of all, if the incumbent gets up there, you have a history. You know what this incumbent has been doing for, God, how many years has it been up there? 12? Is it 6? I don't know.
She got elected in 2012, and yeah, she be getting to
8 years.
2013.
Yeah.
So,
8 years.
So, yeah, 8 years.
And has it gotten any better? Not in my opinion. Not what I can see.
No, I don't think she has spent more money than any other congressman except for one, who was another female Florida congresswoman. So out of the 435 congressmen, our congressman Lois Frankel is number 2 when it comes to spending your tax dollars and putting us into debt.
Wow. So I mean,
And
if
that's not a great record.
if that's the kind of thing you want as a citizen, somebody who's absolutely irresponsible with the money that they have been trusted with, then just go ahead and let her take over again. But for me, it's not acceptable, and it hasn't been acceptable for a long time. And the only reason I believe that this person has been able to get away with it is there hasn't been somebody that can really stand up to what's going on up there. Now we have this person. Now there's no excuse. That's why I said earlier, if Mike doesn't get up there and you give him the opportunity to help straighten this out, then you got nobody to blame but ourselves. Because we've been given the opportunity, now all we have to do is pass it on to him. Give him the ball and let him run across the goal line. That's really where we're at right now. We're ready to make the goal. We're at that point. You know, it's either we're going to punt or we're just going to go to the sideline and forget it. And
I mean, and I'm trying to bring some sort of unity between the parties by hitting issues that are neither Republican or Democrat, but are just right and wrong issues.
Yeah.
It's just wrong that you're double taxing your Social Security. It's wrong that the unemployed have to get taxed on their unemployment benefits, which is supposed to be insurance. It's wrong that politicians build a power base where they can stay in power for 30, 40 years at a time and just sit there and build their kingdom instead of going on and doing something else. Those are right and wrong issues.
And you look at their constituency, you look at the districts that they represent, and in many cases, these particular people they don't represent the constituents, not in any way, shape, or form. And I'm of the opinion that the one that we have doesn't represent me.
No, I don't believe she's doing a great job either. That's why I'm running against her. I mean, I still can't figure out how Maxine Waters can live in a multi-million-dollar house on a $178,000 a year salary.
It's truly disturbing when you look at some of them. Pelosi's another one. But again, if you look at the background, here's the thing. Another reason why, I mentioned it earlier, another reason why to support this man. He's not part of the clique. The Pelosi's, the whole family's background is in politics. One after another, just hand it down. Just like the Bushes, hand it down. Just like the Clintons wanted to hand it down from Bill down to Hillary. They just hand it down over and over and over again. It's a revolving door. They come in and they go, okay, well, you know, if it's a presidency, then they do their maximum time and another one comes in. But they're part of the same clique. They're all part of the same good old boys club. So these other people with these powerful, I can't think of the word now, these popular names, these guys who have a name that instantly clicks with you, that's what you're going to get when you send them up there. It's the same old boys club. Okay, well, we can't do that. We got to make sure there's no waves. No waves. Don't shake the boat. That's not what we need. We need somebody who's not afraid to shake the boat. We need somebody who's not afraid to face the waves. We need somebody who's willing to look at them and say, this is not right, and I'm going to do the best that I can to straighten it out. Because it's not right. It's not a Democrat thing. It's not a Republican thing. It's just not right. That's the kind of people we need. That's what Mike is.
Yes, that's exactly right. It's a right or wrong issue, and that's what has to be addressed, the right and the wrong part of it. And that's what's not happening, and that's what has to be changed.
Over and over and over, it's not happening. Look at what we're going through today. These people, the very people that are telling us, they're forcing me out of business, really. The very people who are forcing me out of business and telling me that I would be selfish. How selfish of you to go to work. These are the very same people that are collecting a paycheck the whole time. And a very handsome one, while we're speaking about it. They're not cheap. 170 some odd thousand a year is the average that these people make. But they can dictate to you, well, no, we don't want you going to here, and we don't want you going there, and we don't want you going here. And how many of them have been caught doing the very thing they tell us not to do? They went out and one of them got their nails done, one of them got their hair done, another one traveled to another city because he felt claustrophobic. He was all tied in from being, yeah, right. So in other words, our poop doesn't smell. Our politicians, their poop don't smell, but the rest of us do. So us slaves must do what they tell us to do. This is the mentality of the government that we have today, and it is wrong. And here we are presented with somebody who has the mentality that our founding fathers had. I am going to serve the people. I'm not going to serve my pockets. I'm not going to serve a large corporation. I'm going to serve those who I represent, and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability. I'm going to do the best that I can to straighten the wrongs. There's so many wrongs that need to be right. Well, here's somebody who's recognizing them and telling you, I recognize this is wrong. Double taxation. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that it is wrong. How long has this incumbent been in office, and what have they done about it? Zilch, zero, nothing. So you want more of the same? Then don't vote. Just let them win again. And just let us continue to suffer and blame whoever. Blame the president. Blame the Republicans. Blame. It's gotten to the point where some serious decisions need to be made. We can no longer continue down this road if we want a positive change in this country. It's just, I mean, Kathy, I could hear it in Kathy's voice, the frustration, because I feel the same way. I am just absolutely frustrated with what in the world is going on. And it is because of the mentality the majority of the people up there feel as though somehow they can do what they wish and not suffer. And unfortunately, the evidence of that is quite clear. Many of them have and gotten absolutely with impunity. They've been able to break the law, and they have impunity. Who's going to hold their feet to the fire? The guy who's on the phone with me tonight. He would hold their feet to the fire. He would tell them they're responsible to do this, that, and the other, and you're wrong. And this is right, and this is what should be done. This is the opportunity, guys. This is what we have. If each of us will share this information tonight, we can get a huge number of people to hear Mike and what Mike is about and what Mike can do. And hopefully, through that, we can get him to represent us up there when this is all said and done. I appreciate you taking the time to share with me, my friend.
Oh, listen, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to come on your show and share with the public what I'm about, what my platform is, and what I'd be able to do if I got to Washington.
And again, the history is there. A fighter, experience, credentials, the history is there. If you are going to vote for one of these, are any of the other, I know you're not the only Republican, but are there any of the other candidates that are in the Republican ticket have any degree of experience with government?
With government, let's see. One of the other candidates was a police officer in Jupiter. Another one was a part-time professor down here in Florida. Mm-hmm. There's another lady who she owns a zoo, actually, really nice lady, and she has some real good experience with the like the PETA people and dealing with that because she has a zoo, and she's a smart woman. And she's raised 3 kids on her own, and then we have another woman, Reba, who's a nice lady who really wants to serve. She's in a wheelchair though, makes it kind of difficult, but she's a lot of good ideas, bright woman. So we have some good people, but there's nobody that stands out as far as having done it all. In other words, Fortune 500 company, government experience, and small business experience, that knows the government, knows what it's like to run a business, make payroll. There's nobody that has that experience. And of course, the other person in the race is in the race because she's famous for smoking dope with Roseanne Barr on TV. And
Again, we're back to the popular thing. Not the qualifications, just the popular thing.
Right, going to Nancy Pelosi's house and trespassing with the immigrants. But that doesn't really amount to, how does that translate to being a good congressperson and passing laws when you're a lawbreaker yourself?
And no experience whatsoever with regards to handling criminals, the danger that is involved in any of that.
Yes.
That would be, to me, the kind of person that the first roadblock, the first incidents of them being blocked in any way, shape, or form, they just cower down and go, okay, we'll have to find another way to get around it, and just keep repeating the same thing over and over, just like what we got now, the same thing we have now. Just the same thing over and over and over again. And somebody's just a space taker, They're just fitting a slot. They fit into the slot, and then they go along with the system.
Right. Well, I think that one particular person is looking. She makes her living from people giving to her, and I think she just wants to be famous. She wants to be a Kardashian, and this is more about her personal thing than it is about absolutely representing the people of Palm Beach County and doing what's best for them.
I don't know how many people out there how they feel about Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but in my view, this person does not belong where they are in any way, shape, or form. The reason I bring that up is this person was able to do what they did with a whopping 16,000 votes. She didn't win by 16,000 votes. That's the number of people that voted for her. 16,000 people put this person who has no business being up there in office. So if it could take that few of people to put somebody who's absolutely irresponsible, I could go on and on about her, but anyway, the reason I bring her up is it took a very small amount of people to be able to achieve that. If we would get our act together and unite, it wouldn't take a whole lot of us to get this man up there. But we need to do that. We need to unite together and do whatever we can within our power to see to it that he is the next one that goes up there and puts those people's feet to the fire and begins to represent us instead of big corporations. This is our opportunity. I can't say it enough times. We have a huge responsibility coming up. If you are one who just sits back and says, I'm not going to vote because I don't believe in the system or whatever the excuse is, you are making things worse. You are part of the problem. If you are one who allows this incumbent to win again, you are part of the problem. Nothing has gotten any better that I can see since this person has been in office. Why, and if you were an employer and you hired somebody and they did a poor job year in and year out, why would you continue to hire, to employ them when someone else comes along who had the credentials, the background, and the wherewithal to do a better job than them? It just doesn't require a rocket scientist to figure that out. Get rid of the fat and go with the muscle. And that's what we're talking about tonight. Get rid of the fat. Give it some muscle. This man can do what he says he can do. I believe 100% he can. And this is the kind of person that I want to see up there. So each of us do our own little part. Spread the information. I'll have the archive up tomorrow by 1 o'clock. You can find it on the Red Pill Reality Show on Facebook. So if you go to Facebook, Red Pill Reality Show, you'll find a link to the archive. Spread that with your friends. Let them know that we have somebody who is in our corner to fight for us.
Right.
Otherwise, the person who, so many times, this just twists me to no end. So many times, it's not the person who's qualified. Let me back up a minute. It's the person who's qualified to raise the most money. It's not the person who's qualified to do the job that wins. And I'm tired of that. I need somebody who is qualified to do the job. A lot of these other people, the only qualification they have is the ability to raise lots of money so that their name is splattered in your face constantly, so that when you go to the voting box, you go, oh yeah, I remember Smith. Yeah, Smith. It doesn't matter that they're qualified. You just remember their name. We need to do that. We can do that. Without all of the billions, and that's an over-exaggerated, millions of dollars that it requires, we can help overcome that by spreading the information through our friends. Each one of us has a circle of influence. Tell your friends, tell them to tell their friends. And you'd be surprised how quick the word would get around. And we can circumvent some of this popularity thing. We can get the name Velarde to be known. And it doesn't require a lot of effort on our part, just to be able to share it with our friends. How many of you out there are frustrated with what's going on today? I'm absolutely disgusted with what's going on today. I believe Mike feels the same way. How do you feel about what's going on today, Mike?
Oh, yeah, no, I absolutely do. And I want to thank my team members that did call in. I want to thank Lynn. I want to thank Pamela. I want to thank Bonnie. I want to thank Cindy. And I want to thank Kelly, because they're really important to me, each and every one of them. They support me, and they're out there making phone calls for me, knocking on doors, raising money. And, without them, I wouldn't be able to make that difference. So I got a great team. And I want to thank Sabrina for her support. And she came up with the Stand With Me, Vote Right, Vote for Mike, Velarde 2020. She's brilliant that way. She comes up with a lot of good slogans. I really have a lot of good people, and that makes a big difference. And you know what? This is a historic election.
I agree.
Okay, it's historic. And I look at this election and I see for the first time Republicans are running in Democratic districts where just 2 years ago there wasn't even an opponent. 2 years ago, Lois Franco ran unopposed. This year, she got primaried by a Democrat, so she's a Democratic primary, and now there's 6 people on the Republican side going for her seat. Not only has that happened in District 21, it's happened in District 22, where we have Darlene Swaffer, who's running against the incumbent Ted Deutsch over there. It's happened in District 23, in 20, in 19. I think you're going to see a red wave because more people are getting fed up with a Congress that has done nothing. Has gone after our president.
Gosh. Nothing. We paid these people a handsome price for the past 3 years, and what have they accomplished for us? Nothing. Nothing really. I mean, that's not an over-exaggeration. I'm telling you the truth. They have accomplished, a couple of things here and there, but basically nothing. In comparison to any other period of time, nothing. The amount that they have is a fraction, a mere minor fraction of what they should have done. They've been focused on nothing more than trying to get rid of this president and causing more and more division within our country. I know that I don't feel alone in this. I've had enough. I want somebody that can go up there and take care of business and let them know, because there's no matter who you send up there, no matter who it is, understand something. Either they're going to be part of the system or they're not going to be part of the system. That's what it boils down to. This man is not part of the system. Just remember that when it comes down to voting time, just like the president. He wasn't part of the system. This is why I believe a lot of people supported him, because they knew they've been sick and tired of what's going on and watching what's the corruption. And they needed somebody who could come in and hold these people's feet to the fire. Well, that's what we got. That's what we'll have with Mike if you'll give him the opportunity.
Oh, yes, the president will have support because, they spent $24 million on the Mueller investigation.
I thought it was more than that.
Might have been. But that's the minimum amount that they just spent for the agents, the investigators.
And 2+ years.
And they know from the beginning that it was a hoax.
Yeah.
And those memos are coming out now. They knew there was no evidence going in. But they did it because they wanted to cast a shadow over the presidency.
And they were able to get away with it to a point because of the good old boys club. This is the thing. This is a little clique of them up there. They're all in this together. So they just when you get a new face, the new face either becomes part of them or is kicked out. They figure out how to block them at every corner. That person doesn't get anything done during their time up there, and someone else comes, and the next person that comes in can say, well, look at this last guy. They didn't do anything, blah blah blah, and they're supported with millions of dollars by this existing system of this little group of people who can raise all this money. We got to get away from that. We have to stop the popularity thing and get somebody who knows how to take care of business. And that's who
It's a job interview. It's not a popularity contest.
Thank you.
It's a job interview. And that's what people have to realize, and they don't seem to get it. If you want to put a 26-year-old kid who's done nothing, no sense of responsibility, never held a job, never worked for the government, never worked for a Fortune 500 company, never had her own business where she had to make payroll, never had a husband, never had a child, is simply famous for being famous.
Yeah, just
For pulling stunts, then this country is going to reap what it sows, and it's not going to be pretty.
All right, my friend. I am so grateful for you, and I appreciate everything that you do. I do whatever I can to help you in whatever way I can.
And I appreciate it very, very much.
It has truly been an honor to have you on with me tonight. And unfortunately, we had some website issues. We'll overcome that. I have a feeling I know what's going on, but I don't want to say because I may be wrong, and then I'll make a silly mess out of myself. But in all of that, I am grateful, and I want to say a big thank you. Any parting thoughts?
Well, just like I said, stand with me, vote right, vote for Mike, Velarde 2020. Anything you can do to support us would be greatly appreciated. I love the people, and I'm there to fight for you, and I need you to stand up and help me to get to Washington. Thank you very much.
God bless you, my friend. Be well. I wish you the best, and I'm looking forward to addressing you as our latest and newest congressman.
Thank you very much, Scott. I appreciate you very much, too.
I wish you an awesome evening. Good night.
Okay, good night.
All right, my friends, that is Mike Velarde. You can find him at velarde2020.com. You know, you will be impressed if you're looking for somebody that wants to make a change, a positive change. Again, I say people can make changes. Let's make positive changes. We have an opportunity to do that. Let's take advantage of that opportunity and get somebody like Mike up there who can take care of this, who can help us. He's not the answer all, but he certainly is a vital part of getting things done. Because as long as we continue to allow these people to do what they're doing, got nobody to blame but yourselves, my friends. And here's the opportunity to change all of that. All right, we are winding down. Let's see, we've got just a couple of minutes left. I've got a couple of people left on the board, but I think I've gotten everybody. Let me just, I did have everybody. I've gotten to everybody. Each of you that has called in, thank you. I greatly appreciate you sharing with us tonight your testimonies about Mike. I think that there's really no question that this man is the most qualified candidate that we have in District 21. To go up there and represent us, the people, to do a job that we would be proud of. I'm not proud of the people that are up there right now. I'm actually very angry with them because they have overstepped their boundaries. They have forgotten who they work for. They have forgotten who is supposed to benefit. Well, they haven't forgotten yes, they've forgotten who they're supposed to benefit. It's supposed to be us. They think that the benefit is for them. They think that once they get up there, it's pretty much done deal. And for a lot of them, it is. And again, we have nobody to blame but ourselves if that's the case. We're given an opportunity to make the change. If we don't reach out, remember AOC, 16,000 votes. 16,000. That is really a drop in the bucket. When you consider, I think we have, I may be wrong, but I think it's almost 750,000 here in Palm Beach County, I think. So that's just a drop in the bucket. It wouldn't take a whole lot of us working together to get Mike's name out there in such a way that his name would become more popular than the existing people that are doing, because the problem that we're having is to be able to get his name known. And to be able to get his name known takes a lot of money. Well, if we can't raise enough money quick enough, we can certainly raise enough interest, and we can do that with our friends. In the meantime, I'll be back in a week. I want to thank each and every one of you for listening in tonight, and I'll see you in a week. God bless.
Take the red pill, and I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. This is your land, chest. This is your land, chest. This is your land, chest. This is your land. chance. After this, there is no turning back. You take the blue pill, the story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to believe. You take the red pill, 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 take the red. You stay in Wonderland. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.